Third part. Chapter 41 Redeem Rewards. 10 minutes later. After Yi Qiu told them about the rewards given by the school and how to receive them, he left. Du Feng saw Qin Yi standing up and asked, "Where are you going?" "Go home." Qin Yi looked at Du Feng doubtfully, "Aren't you going home?" "Go home." Du Feng stood up and said, "Looking at your posture, I thought you wanted to train contract beasts." "Go home for training." Qin Yi yawned lazily. He had just finished the exam yesterday, and he was not planning to go to the wild to train Zhuge and the Pirate King these days. That. Which one? Did anyone come to your house? Admissions teacher? Right. Here we come. Qin Yi asked, "Which spirit beast university are you going to?" "Calling spirits, but they didn't recruit me in advance." Du Feng shrugged. The admissions teachers of the 3 top spiritual beast universities generally only look for the top 10 candidates in each city's practical examination. They will not recruit candidates in person after the 10th. Don't panic. Number 17 is not bad. You have to believe in your own strength. Under normal circumstances, the top 30 people in each city have a chance, but after the 30th place, the chance is very slim. I also believe in my strength, but... Du Feng paused, but Fenchun University offered me a B+ level contract. B+ level contract? Qin Yi was startled. Yes. Du Feng nodded and said with some confusion, "So now I am thinking whether I want to go to Fenchun University." Qin Yi looked at Du Feng, who looked troubled. After thinking for a moment, he responded, "You can go." Du Feng looked at Qin Yi. Qin Yi continued, "Fenchun University is a spirit beast university that mainly studies all things related to the fire attribute. The research on fire attributes is greater than that of Summoning Spirit University. In such a spirit beast university, the rewards will not be worse than those at Soul Calling University. What's more, if you go to Fenchun University, you can also enjoy the resources provided by the B+ level contract. Not to mention anything else, the B+ level contract has the right to choose low-level elite spiritual beasts in advance. As for Spirit Summoning University, if you go to Spirit Summoning University, you won't be able to enjoy the resources provided by the B+ level contract. You can only rely on yourself. There is still a big difference between a contract without Spirit Beast University and a contract with Spirit Beast University. My parents mean the same thing." Du Feng sighed softly, "I'll think about it again." "Think slowly, I'll leave first." Qin Yi waved his hand. "Wait for me." Du Feng picked up his backpack and chased after him. 8 p.m. In Qin Yi's room. Qin Yi sat in front of the computer, eyes fixed on the screen. Luo Ye stood on his left side, also staring at the computer screen. While they were staring at the screen, Zhuge was lying next to the bed, sleeping soundly. After Qin Yi saw the time jump to 8 o'clock in the lower right corner, he immediately refreshed the website in front of him. The next moment, the screen that originally had only a few lines of words changed drastically and turned into something like a shopping website screen. Qin Yi looked at the dazzling array of products in front of him, glanced at the interface, and then clicked on the option of redeem points from high to low. Feather of Flame, purple, -8,000. Heart of Ice, purple, -8,000. Fruit of Sound, purple, -8,000. Trample Heavy Rock, purple, -8,000. Qin Yi stared blankly at the items worth 8,000 points on the entire screen, and couldn't help but gulped. "My dear, what are these?" Qin Yi came back to his senses and moved the mouse to look at the items one by one. Feather of Flame, purple quality heavenly and earthly treasure, obtains the talent of flame wings, suitable for fire attributes, flying spiritual beasts. Flame wings, flames gather on the back to form wings, which can fly in the sky. Heart of the Ice, purple quality natural material and earthly treasure, obtain the talent of Heart of the Ice, suitable for water attributes, or spiritual beasts who want to move freely on the seabed. Ice Heart, with a strong heart, you can breathe freely in the ocean. Fruit of Sound, purple quality heavenly material and earthly treasure, which can add sound attributes to your spirit beast. The purple quality is so terrifying. Qin Yi looked at the many items on the interface with envy in his eyes. How great it would be if all these items were his. Unfortunately, he can only choose one of these items. It's official as expected, this points card is just right. 8,000 points, no more, no less. It just so happens that only 2 or 3 people in each city can change, and even in the less powerful cities, no one can change. Qin Yi looked at it and was stunned for a moment when he saw an item black out. F***K. Qin Yi was shocked. At this moment, he realized that most of the treasures here only have one. After knowing this, he quickly started watching. Soon after, he looked at the treasures of heaven and earth being exchanged one after another. He couldn't help but feel a little anxious, and the speed of watching became faster and faster. It's not that he doesn't want to choose, it's that he hasn't found what he wants yet. He looked at it and stopped at the pattern of a black shadow. Ghost Body and Mind, purple, -8,000. Ghost Body and Mind, purple heavenly and earthly treasures, obtain Ghost Body and Mind talents, suitable for ghost attribute spiritual beasts. Ghost Body and Mind, the specific effect is unknown. According to the effect of Flame Body and Mind, its approximate effect is to summon a clone with ghost attributes. The strength of the clone is about 80% of its own strength. Please refer to this effect with caution. Qin Yi looked at the effect of this heavenly material and earthly treasure, and couldn't help but think of Luoya surrounded by ghostly aura in the dark night. As he thought about it, he felt more and more handsome. At the same time, he couldn't help but have an inexplicable feeling in his heart, as if he would just change it again, it wouldn't be wrong. Qin Yi shook his head to get rid of the thoughts in his mind, then turned to look at Luoya. How about this? Huh? Luoya was confused. In fact, he still can't understand so many words. We'll talk about it later. Qin Yi looked at the confused Luoya and didn't explain, but continued to flip through the back. A few minutes later, Qin Yi reached the end and opened the collection interface. As for those with less than 8,000 points, he didn't even look at them, and he wasn't prepared to look at them. Because items with less than 8,000 points are not purple quality items. When you can choose purple quality items, choose yellow quality items. This operation is probably only possible by people who don't understand the value of purple quality items. Obviously, he understands the value of purple quality items. Not to mention anything else, after eating it, you can get the natural treasures. The lowest quality is purple. Even if you can learn talents and skills from heavenly materials and earthly treasures below purple, there is a chance, not 100%. It can be seen that the value of purple quality items is not comparable to that of yellow quality items. The items on the screen in front of him can all be collected. When he looks at the items, he will click on the ones he likes to collect. Now, after scanning all the purple items in the exchange mall, he looked at most of the items in the collection interface that were blacked out, and he couldn't help but twitching his lips slightly. You guys are so fast. In fact, he only collected 8 of them, and now only 3 of them have not been replaced. These 3 are Wood Dragon Stone, Zhu Yuhua, and Ghost Body and Mind. Wood Dragon Stone and Zhu Yuhua are both natural and earthly treasures with enhanced attributes. He only collected them because of the bloodline contained in them. He feels that Wood Dragon Stone should have something to do with Qinglong, and Scarlet Feather Flower should have something to do with Suzaku. If one of them is replaced, then Zhuge needs one less evolutionary material. But purple quality items are not so easy to obtain. If he replaces one of Wood Dragon Stone or Crimson Feather Flower, then the other 3 items must also be of purple quality. Only if they are all purple can they be balanced. If there is 1 purple and 3 yellow, then it must be unbalanced. Although he was not sure whether other changes would occur under unbalanced conditions, he did not dare to mess around. So, when he was struggling, he saw Wood Dragon Stone and Zhu Yuhua being exchanged one after another. Then, he looked at the only Ghost Body and Mind left in the collection interface and showed a bright smile. Hey. Chapter 42 Red Feather Grass, Tears of Snakes and Turtles. The most important reason for him to redeem Ghost Body and Mind so willfully is that he has the talent of Destiny. This talent of destiny gives him the confidence to be willful. If he didn't have the destiny talent, he wouldn't redeem ghost body and mind. After all, the unknown is the most troublesome and distressing thing. There are many spiritual summoners in the spirit star who spend their entire lives looking for the next evolutionary path for their contracted beasts. But with the talent of destiny, he doesn't have this trouble. Even if he lets Luoya evolve into an unknown spiritual beast, he can still find the next evolution method for Luoya through destiny path. The only thing he is not sure about now is the potential of the new evolutionary path after Luoya consumes ghost body and mind. If his potential is weaker than Captain Duck, it can only be said that he is looking in the wrong direction. The price of looking in the wrong direction is that in the short term, his Luoya may be a little weaker than the spiritual beasts of the same period. Why are you thinking so much? Let's eat later. Someone can evolve the most common gray wolf into an Excalibur dog. With destiny, why can't I evolve Luoya into Captain Jack Sparrow? If I can't evolve, doesn't that mean I'm stupider than people who don't have the destiny talent? What's more, there are all kinds of terrifying treasures in this world. When the evolution goes wrong, just find a treasure that is similar to the mysterious slate and give it to Luoya. Well, that's a good idea. Ha 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 ha. Luoya looked at Qin Yi, who suddenly laughed and was stunned for a moment. Then, he couldn't help but rolled his eyes, turned and walked aside. Although he didn't fully understand what his elder brother was saying, he probably understood the meaning. It was probably that his elder brother had exchanged an item for him that was not suitable for him, and was now brainwashing himself. He actually didn't care much about this matter. The only thing he cared about was whether he could become the Pirate King in the future. As long as he can become the Pirate King in the future, he will eat whatever his elder brother gives him. Of course, the most important thing is that he trusts his elder brother. He believes that his elder brother will not let him eat items that are not conducive to his growth. After all, they are a community. If he is weak, the elder brother will not be much better. June 10th. First place? Baya asked, looking at Qin Yi, who was checking the results. First. Qin Yi sighed softly. He is still number one. The 7 written tests totaled 700 points, and he scored 470 points. Even if he can get first place with 470 points, he is also drunk. Mom, it's better not to take this test. Even if you get 700 points, 20% is only 140 points. What's the use of adding these 140 points? Qin Yi couldn't help but complain. It's of little use to you, but it's of great use to others. Baya patted Qin Yi on the shoulder and continued, you have too high actual combat points. Those with low actual combat points are still lacking. This score. For example, if you hand in a blank paper, Cece will be the first. Your actual combat score is 8,866, and 80% is 7,092. CC actual combat 8712, 80% is 6,969. The difference between you is only 123 points. Not only did I get 140 points in the CC written test, but it was very easy to get 123 points. With these 123 points added up, it's higher than you. Baya patted Qin Yi's shoulder again, so, this test is still somewhat useful, not useless at all. I know, I just complained. Qin Yi closed the interface in front of him speechlessly and rubbed his painful shoulders. Of course he knew this, he just didn't expect that after just a few casual remarks, his mother had a long conversation with him, and even gave him an example of ECC. I know you know, but I just want to say something. Baya smiled slightly, your father and I only got 2 of the things you asked for. Yes. Qin Yi looked at his mother excitedly. Baya smiled and said, we spent a lot of money to get this. From now on, you have to rely on yourself, and you can't keep chewing on your old age. Hey, I'll do it myself later. Qin Yi felt a little embarrassed after hearing this. Of course, he can only rely on himself in the future. After all, his parents may not be able to get what he needs later. The items needed now are of yellow quality, and the items needed later will definitely not be lower than yellow quality. Parents still have channels to get yellow quality items. Even if parents want to get purple quality items, it is not that easy to get them, and they are risky. Even if my mother is the king of heaven, she is no exception. What's more, my mother and father have retired a long time ago, and they are no longer the all-powerful Yu Tianwang back then. He is still very satisfied with his parents' current situation, and he doesn't want his parents to go out and take risks. There is a chance of getting high-quality items when you go out on adventures, but they are all obtained at risks. He doesn't want his parents to have any accidents. So he is very satisfied with his parents' current life. Open a small shop, raise some flowers and plants, and help others train spiritual animals to make a little money. This kind of life is comfortable just thinking about it. Unfortunately, this life is still too early for him. Red feather grass, tears of snakes and turtles. Baya took out 2 transparent glass containers from the spirit's summoning space and placed them on Qin Ye's table. Qin Yi looked at the crimson grass and a tear-like stone in the glass container, and the excitement on his face became more intense. Put your things away, I'm going to get busy. Baya patted Qin Ye's shoulder again. Thank you, Mom. Qin Yi shouted quickly. Baya smiled and left Qin Ye's bedroom. Red feather grass. Quality, yellow. Introduction: the grass that has been nourished by the essence and blood of the emperor-level red-feathered bird is mutated and contains rich fire attribute energy. Tears of snake and turtle. Quality, yellow. Introduction: a strange item made from the tears of many snakes and turtles, containing rich water energy. There should be no problem. Qin Yi muttered, turned to Zhuge who was lying aside and said, I'll put it in the spirit summoning space first. Don't eat it. We can eat it together when we have everything. Yeah. Zhuge nodded vigorously. After Qin Yi put away the 2 items on the table, a phone call came over. What does the head teacher want from me? A confused Qin Yi answered the phone. Teacher Yi, what's the matter? Qin Yi, congratulations on becoming the top scorer in Yehai City's college entrance examination. When Yi Qiu said this, his tone was mixed with excitement. Listening to Mr. Ye's excited words, Qin Yi raised the corners of his mouth slightly. Thank you, Teacher Yi. Yi Qiu laughed and said the reason for her call: every year, the number 1 winner in Yehai City will receive a reward from Yehai City officials. This year's reward content is the same as in previous years, which is a yellow quality item and 1 million spirit coins. Okay teacher, when can I receive the reward? Qin Yi asked. Although he had known about this reward for a long time, when he actually heard it, he couldn't help but feel happy from the bottom of his heart. It was because he knew about this reward that he asked Yi Sisi at the last moment if he could give him the first place in actual combat. Naturally, he kept Yi Sisi's feelings in mind. It's 10 o'clock the day after tomorrow. Remember to come to the classroom then. Okay. Chapter 43 Golden Tiger Orb, Arrival of Zhongnian. June 12. Morning. Under the spotlight, Qin Yi received the award certificate from the mayor of Yehai City, Yi Zhantian, with a smile on his face. You be ****************, D, you performed well. Yi Zhantian patted Qin Yi on the shoulder. He. Qin Yi smiled sheepishly as he listened to Yi Zhantian's whisper. He was really afraid of Yi Zhantian because he took his daughter's first place, so he had to beat him a few times. After Yi Zhantian handed the award certificate to Qin Yi, he walked towards Yi Sisi. Soon after, the award ceremony ended. Yi Sisi looked at Qin Yi and said, "How does it feel to win the top prize?" "Sister, please stop laughing at me." Qin Yi smiled bitterly and said, "I wouldn't be able to get first place without you. As long as you know." Yi Sisi raised the corners of her mouth slightly. "I don't dare to forget." Qin Yi is not afraid of her, but he is afraid of her father. Her father is said to be a legendary spiritual summoner, a being even more powerful than his mother. Will you come with me to change things later? Although the reward for second place is not as good as that for first place, it is still worthwhile. It just changes from 1 yellow quality item to 3 blue quality items. Good. Then, Qin Yi exchanged it from Yehai City's official treasury for a heavenly and earthly treasure with metallic tiger bloodline, the Golden Tiger Orb. Golden Tiger Orb. Quality, yellow. Introduction. The heavenly materials and earthly treasures refined by the king-level metallic tiger tribe by terrifying powerful men contain rich metallic energy. Why did you change this? Yi Sisi looked curious. This item probably has nothing to do with his contracted beast. Is he going to let the Pirate King eat him? Increase the sharpness of the Pirate King's claws? I'm useful. Qin Yi continued without explaining, thank you. When he chose this item, he did not say that he needed items related to the White Tiger. Instead, he asked if there were any items related to the Metallic Tiger clan and if there were any items related to the Wooden Dragon clan. He asked his parents and told them two more things. Those two were whether there were items related to the Fire Attribute Bird family and whether there were items related to the Water Attribute Turtle and Snake. After his understanding, there are no green dragons, white tigers, red birds, or Xuanwu in this world. So if he wants to obtain these things, he naturally needs to change his words. Yi Sisi waved her hand nonchalantly and asked casually, when are you going to school? Let's wait until the spirit beast I selected arrives and the items arrive. You got an A+ contract? Do not you? Of course I'm not, I have an A-level contract. Yi Sisi said, I'm not like you, my talent is still very valuable. I only mentioned 2 talents. Qin Yi refused. There are only 3 talents in total, and you said 2. Yi Sisi rolled her eyes. The one I didn't tell you is worth a lot of money. Qin Yi smiled and said, one can be worth countless of you. Humph, I don't believe it. Yi Sisi snorted softly. She didn't believe this bullshit. Believe it or not. Qin Yi waved his hand and said, let's go. Seeing Qin Yi turning around to leave, Yi Sisi quickly shouted, wait. What's wrong? Qin Yi turned around and asked. Yi Sisi came to Qin Yi's side and whispered, tell me what dark spiritual beasts they have. I called you sister, and you took it seriously. Qin Yi was speechless. Why don't you tell me? Yi Sisi glared at him. Tell me, don't worry, let me think about it. Qin Yi thought for a while and then told Yi Sisi about the information about spiritual beasts he had seen. Not long after, Qin Yi said goodbye to Yi Sisi after informing her of the available dark attribute beasts at the Spirit Summoning University. Qin by Animal Education Shop. After returning home, Qin Yi walked straight to the backyard. On the way back, he received a message from his mother. Mr. Zhong came with the spiritual beast of his choice. Opening the door and entering the backyard, Qin Yi saw 3 people chatting not far away. Mom, Dad, Mr. Zhong. Qin Yi called to the 3 of them. How does it feel to be watched by everyone? Baya asked with a smile. Except for being a little uncomfortable, everything else is fine. Qin Yi came to them. Baya didn't ask any more questions. After chatting for a while, he entered the topic this time. I've kept you waiting for a long time, Zhongnian said. Okay. Qin Yi shook his head quickly. Zhongnian smiled and took out 3 soul-calling balls of different colors from the briefcase beside him. Immediately afterwards, he threw forward with his left hand, and 3 spirit-calling balls were thrown directly into the sky. The next moment, 3 lightning-like light waves rushed out of the spirit-calling ball and hit the ground. A pony that is as smooth as a mirror and has an extremely handsome temperament, a horse with amazing bones, except for the gray-white skeleton, there are only 2 faint blue flaming eyes shining inside, one is holding a long knife and stepping firmly on it with both feet. On the ground, there was a serious expression in his eyes, and he was looking at the dogs around him warily. 2 horses and 1 dog appeared together in front of their eyes. Qin Yi looked at the 3 longing spirit beasts appearing not far away, and immediately showed a look of excitement and joy. Read it slowly and tell me which one you want after you finish it. After Zhongnian finished speaking, he picked up the tea on the side. Yes. Qin Yi nodded, and without hesitation released his soul pupils at the 3 spiritual beasts one after another. Lingguang Pony. Level 12, 72 out of 100. Attribute, light. Potential, medium elite, 57 out of 100. Talent, flash of inspiration. Skeleton horse. Level, level 15, 12 out of 100. Attribute, undead. Potential, medium elite, 43 out of 100. Talent, undead flame. Guard dog. Level, level 8, 65 out of 100. Attribute, general. Potential, mid-level elite, 88 out of 100. Talent, sword heart. Skills, double slash, drawn sword slash, fighting spirit, sword intent. Introduction, an alien among guard dogs, a genius with the talent of sword heart, and it only takes 7 days to master the skill of sword intent, the king of dog among guard dogs. It is a pity that because of not knowing the way of evolution, no one can take a good look at it. Spirit Summoning University is indeed the #1 Spirit Beast University in the Spirit Summoning Federation. The Spirit Beasts here have great potential. Although the potential of these 3 Spirit Beasts are all middle elites, it can be seen from the numbers in brackets behind the middle elites that these 3 Spirit Beasts are all elites among the middle elites, not Spirit Beasts who have just entered the middle elites. Especially the guard dog. The potential of that guard dog can already be said to be half a high-level elite. The potential of spiritual beasts is not that easy to improve. Although Zhuge's potential will increase from time to time, that is because of the function of the mysterious slate, which has not been consumed by him yet. Once the mysterious slate is consumed by him, his potential will not increase so quickly. Just like Luoya, after more than 10 days of improvement, Luoya's potential has changed from 21 out of 100 to 40 out of 100, which has increased by 19, and is still 60 points away from the high-level commander. This is still a change after he has upgraded a few levels. If you don't upgrade, it will only improve more slowly. This shows how difficult it is to increase one's potential without taking advantage of natural resources, evolving, and encountering opportunities. This dog is indeed the dog I like. It is really different. Let me see what you can evolve into. While Qin Yi was muttering in his heart, he quietly released his life to the guard dog. Chapter 44. Go ahead and make a contract with your spiritual beast. Destiny. Gunslinger dog, low-level commander, give up your sword to practice spears, and develop your spear skills. Gong Shirgo, low-level commander, give up your sword and practice bowing, and develop your bow skills. Axe Shirgo, lower-level commander, give up your sword to practice axe, and develop your axe-mindedness. Double sword dog, medium commander, practice another sword, practice the double sword style, and become proficient in the double sword style. Swordsman dog, advanced commander, develop sword intent and defeat 10 swordsmen, creatures with swords or knives, whose strength is no less than yourself in 1v1. Once achieved, you can evolve, greater than level 20, evolve immediately, greater than or equal to level 10, less than level 20, there is a chance of evolution. Aren't they all of the same breed? Why are you so special? Qin Ye's mouth twitched slightly. With this weird evolution condition, if he didn't have a destiny, he really didn't know how many years and months it would take for this guard dog to evolve. Will the potential after evolution have something to do with fitness? It must have something to do with it, otherwise the swordsman dog's potential wouldn't be so high. No, this needs to be tested. Otherwise, I really don't know if it has anything to do with it. I don't want to think about it anymore, let's continue to the next one. While Qin Yi was muttering in his heart, he released his life path towards the spiritual light horse beside him. Destiny. Yaoguang horse, medium commander, no requirements are required, just upgrade normally. Shining horse, medium command, has the talent of flash of light and has 2 or more perfect level speed skills. It's ordinary, but the evolutionary conditions of this shining horse haven't been discovered yet. Qin Yi was startled. He still knew about this special evolution that required talent to evolve. He just knew that he knew it, but when he actually saw it, he couldn't help but be surprised. The shining horse is below the shining horse. Does this mean that the shining horse is more suitable for this shining horse? Qin Yi looked at the fate of Ling Guangqiu, recalled the fate of Zhuge and Luoya, and suddenly realized that there seemed to be a little bit of truth. The stronger the potential, doesn't it mean that it is more suitable for it in disguise? If it is not suitable for it, then why is its potential after evolution so strong? Qin Yi shook his head and turned to look at the last skeleton horse. Regarding this issue, he plans to go to Yehai Forest tomorrow to find the same spiritual beast to study. During this period of time, he only focused on raising the levels of Zhuge and Luoya, ignoring the test of the destiny talent. Counting this spiritual light horse, he has only released his destiny 4 times so far. Still too busy. Qin Yi sighed in his heart and turned to look at the last skeleton horse. Destiny. Skeleton War Horse, lower commander. No requirements are required, just upgrade normally. Skeleton Rider, medium commander. Improve the hardness of one's own bones, for example, at level 20, if the bones reach the point where they can withstand a blow from a normal level 25 spirit beast without cracking, there is a chance of evolving. If the bones reach the point where they can withstand a normal level 30 spirit beast, they will have a chance to evolve. If the beast cannot be broken with one hit, it has a high chance of evolving. Ghost Skeleton Pony, medium commander. Increase the proportion of one's own ghost attributes. If there is a third attribute, the ghost attribute must be the second attribute, and it needs to be far ahead of the third attribute. The effect of my destiny has been improved. Qin Yi looked at the interface with many words and suddenly felt that his destiny talent had quietly improved after he became an intermediate spiritual summoner. It should have been improved. Qin Yi muttered in his heart, looked at the skeleton horse and shook his head slightly. Baiya, who was sitting not far away, watched her son shake his head from time to time, nod from time to time, be surprised from time to time, and sigh with emotion from time to time. He couldn't help but laugh and said, "What are you doing? His expressions are so rich." Qin Yi turned to look at his mother, scratched his head, then looked at Mr. Zhong and said, "Mr. Zhong, I want to choose this guard dog." Although he wanted a spiritual beast for transportation, in front of the special and handsome guard dog, he still chose the guard dog without hesitation. Of course, the most important thing is that guard dogs have more potential. Don't talk about what Fate Road saw, let's talk about what Soul Summoning Pupil saw. It can be seen from the text in the introduction to the 3-headed spirit beast given by the Soul Calling Pupil that under the effect of the Soul Calling Pupil, the potential of this guard dog far exceeds that of the Aura Pony and skeleton horse next to it. Don't think about it anymore. Zhongnian reminded, this guard dog is very special and very powerful, but we have not found a suitable evolutionary path for it yet. It would be a pity to let it evolve other paths. No, I will choose it. Qin Yi shook his head and said affirmatively, "Don't worry, I won't let it evolve other routes." Okay. Zhongnian looked at Qin Ye's firm eyes, sighed secretly in his heart, and couldn't help but speak again. When the guard dog reaches level 40, and you haven't found its evolution route yet, let it evolves into a double sword dog, and a double sword dog is quite suitable for it. Two-sword dog? Qin Yi was confused. An evolved type of guard dog. This evolved type is rare. Only Sword Heaven King has one in our Soul Summoning Federation. Zhongnian turned to look at the guard dog and said with a smile, "Actually, this guard dog is still Sword Heaven King. Brought back from Wangxing." Zhongnian looked at the surprised Qin Yi and continued, "The requirements for the evolution of the double sword dog are similar to those of the gunslinger dog and the archer dog. They must develop artistic conception, that is, sword intention and spear intention. This guard dog already has the will to sword. All you need to do is give it another sword and let it become proficient in fighting with 2 swords. This evolution condition was told to us by King Sword Heaven, and he asked us to tell the spiritual summoner who chooses to contract this guard dog in the future." Qin Yi nodded slightly, and then asked what he had always wanted to know, "Is this guard dog using a knife?" In Wangxing, a sword is a sword, and a sword is a sword. They are the same to them. Zhongnian explained, "If you let it practice swordsmanship and swordsmanship, it is the same. Anyway, as long as it is proficient in using 2 weapons, just fight." "Thank you, Mr. Zhong." Qin Yi thanked him. Zhongnian shook his head and asked again, "Are you sure you want to choose this guard dog?" "Okay." Qin Yi shouted. "Actually, this guard dog is not bad. If it evolves into a double sword dog, it will not be weaker than the aura horse and skeleton horse next to it." Zhongnian smiled and said again, you really can't find a suitable evolution type for it. Let it evolve into a double-sword dog. He just sighed, not because the guard dog was weak, but because it would take a lot of time for Qin Yi to evolve the guard dog into a suitable evolutionary form. This large amount of time is spent on improving the strength of the contracted beast, and Qin Yi's strength will inevitably become stronger. Qin Yi is powerful, and he will get more benefits. Yeah. Qin Yi nodded vigorously. I'll put the other two away first. Zhongnian stood up, used the spirit calling ball to put away the spiritual light horse and the skeleton horse, pointed at the guard dog not far away, and said to Qin Yi, go and make the contract with your spirit beast. When Qin Yi heard this, he looked at the guard dog standing over there with alert eyes, and the corners of his mouth could not help but raise slightly. Chapter 45 The Third Contract Beast. Qin Yi looked at the sharp eyes of the guard dog with a hint of confusion, and summoned Luoya with a wave of his hand. He pointed at Luoya and said to the guard dog, I will not bully you. As long as you can hurt my pirate king, I will not contract you. The Pirate King is only 16 levels higher than you, not even 20 levels. The difference is less than 20 levels, so you only need to hurt him, but not too much. Qin Ming and others on the side were stunned for a moment when they listened to Qin Yi's words. Qin Ming covered his forehead and looked aside, as if to say, this is not my son. Bai Ye couldn't help but chuckle twice. Zhongnian smiled and shook his head. They were convinced by Qin Yi's operation and would not accept it even if they didn't. One is level 8 and the other is level 24. How do you fight this? What's more, Qin Yi's Luoya is one of the best in his class. Therefore, Qin Yi's words were clearly meant to bully people and bully the young, weak and ignorant guard dog. On the other side, the guard dog was also stunned for a moment when he heard Qin Yi's words. But soon, he came to his senses. He looked at Luoya, who took a step forward and looked up at Qin Yi. Woof woof. Woof woof woof. He yelled and shook his head. When Qin Yi saw this, he asked Luoya, what is he talking about? Quack, 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 he said he made you a contract so that you don't have to do this. Luoya looked up at Qin Yi and responded. Qin Yi fell silent immediately. This operation is wrong. Why didn't he follow the rules? Qin Yi was silent for a long time and asked unwillingly, are you really not going to hit me? Woof woof. The guard dog shook his head again. Quack, he said not to fight. Luoya translated immediately. Okay. Qin Yi sighed and asked the guard dog, then are you ready? Woof, the guard dog shouted, with a hint of desire in his serious eyes. Desire? Qin Yi was startled and a little confused. But he didn't think much and released the contract circle on the guard dog. Zhongnian couldn't help but smile as he watched Qin Yi start contracting the guard dog. Before, he didn't want Qin Yi to contract this guard dog, but after he thought that Qin Yi had S-level growth talent, he didn't care anymore. The S-level growth talent was enough to make up for the time Qin Yi wasted trying to find a suitable evolution path for this guard dog. Thinking of this, he felt relieved. After he felt relieved, the more he looked at the guard dog, the more he liked it. After all, the strength of this guard dog is at the top of this group of spiritual beasts with medium elite potential. Of course, the strength here is when the levels are similar. If the levels are much different, the guard dogs will naturally not be able to defeat them. Not long after, Qin Yi, who completed the contract with the guard dog, smiled and said, please give me your advice in the future. Woof, the guard dog shouted, then closed his eyes and felt the sudden power in his body. Qin Yi looked at this scene and did not disturb him. Instead, he turned to Zhongnian and said, Mr. Zhong, thank you. Zhongnian smiled and shook his head, take good care of him, he is a good boy. I will. Qin Yi nodded vigorously. If you have nothing to do, you can come to Soul Summoning University early. Zhongnian said, Summoning Soul University has various venues for cultivating spirit beasts. You can come here to train this guard dog. Okay. Qin Yi nodded again. Then, Zhongnian suggested several places to Qin Yi and finally said, since you have already signed the contract, I won't stay any longer. Zhongnian said, turned around, chatted with Qin Ming and Baiya for a few words, and then left Qin Bai's animal breeding shop. "Come on, son, we're going to work too." Baiya went to work with Qin Ming after seeing Zhong Yan leave. In an instant, only Qin Yi and his contract beast were left here. Qin Yi turned to look at the excited guard dog, and decisively threw a soul-calling pupil. Race, guard dog. Level 8, 65 out of 100. Attribute, General. Potential, High Elite, 7 out of 100. Talent, Sword Heart. Skills, Double Slash, Proficiency, 31 out of 100, Sword Drawing Slash, Proficiency, 27 out of 100, Fighting Will, Proficiency, 17 out of 100, Sword Will, Proficiency, 11 out of 100. Introduction: an alien among the guard dogs, one has the talent of Sword Heart. When the genius dog king meets the respected you, his destiny has begun to change quietly. Sword Heart, possessing extraordinary wisdom and insight in the practice of swords, knives, able to quickly understand various sword, knife, moves, and use various sword, knife, moves. P.S. The setting of the world of Wangxing: a sword is a sword, a sword is a sword, and swords are indistinguishable. Look at the setting of other worlds outside Wangxing, just treat the sword in his hand as a sword, don't think too much. 2 consecutive cuts, swing the knife quickly to attack the target twice. Sword intention: the attack power of oneself is strengthened, and each sword, knife, swung by oneself contains a profound artistic conception, which has a chance to affect the opponent's mind and make him fall into confusion or fear. Is this a high-level elite transformed by the addition of my son of nature? Qin Yi was startled, and then the corners of his mouth raised slightly uncontrollably. High-level elites are great. High-level elites have a better future than middle-level elites. The effect of this talent is quite strong. Qin Yi looked at the 2 proficiency-level skills of the guard dog and couldn't help but sigh softly. When Luoya was at this level, he didn't even have a mastery-level skill. Of course, there was also the reason why Qin Yi didn't train Luoya specially. When there is no contract with Luoya, if Luoya is specially asked to train, although Luoya will most likely not have proficiency-level skills, there is still a high chance that he will have a training level of more than half of proficiency level. Not bad. Very good. Qin Yi was very satisfied with the guard dog's skills and talents. He couldn't be satisfied even if he didn't want to be satisfied with the effect of this skill and the effect of his talent. I'll give you a name. Qin Yi looked at the black guard dog and muttered, "You have the body shape of a human boy, black skin, and like swords, so let's call you Sword Dog." Luoya. Guard Dog. That's right, I'll call you Sword Dog from now on. Qin Yi was extremely satisfied with the name he thought of. Woof. The Sword Dog responded weakly. Huh, not bad. Qin Yi laughed for a while and summoned Zhuge casually. Immediately afterwards, he formally introduced Zhuge and Luoya to the Sword Dog. Then, they had a strength test to test the Sword Dog's current strength. Qin Yi originally had very high expectations for the Sword Dog's strength, but the strength it finally displayed shocked him. Because the Sword Dog actually scratched Luoya's clothes. Although it was just a scratch on the fur, it was still broken after all. With Luoya's concentration, he actually found the only opportunity to scratch his fur. His ability to seize opportunities in this battle really shocked him. Okay. Qin Yi shouted 3 times happily, then continued, "Okay, no more fighting." When they stopped, Qin Yi looked at the surprised Luoya and said, "Do you feel it?" Luoya quickly calmed down his inner surprise and nodded, "Ga. As long as you feel it." Qin Yi smiled and turned to look at the Sword Dog. "You are very strong and your ability to seize opportunities is also very strong. But..." Qin Yi looked at the Sword Dog, who was suddenly frightened by his tone, and said softly, "You are too extreme." Chapter 46: Test Destiny and Capture the Substitute Spirit Beast. You are different from the Pirate King. The Pirate King trades injuries for injuries, and the fight is totally life-threatening. Qin Yi looked at Luoya, who suddenly held his head up high, as if what he just said was a compliment to him. He smiled and shook his head, and continued to look at the Sword Dog, "And you, it's about using extreme skills to do extreme things." The various attacks and dodges you just performed were too extreme. Of course, it was this limit that allowed you to successfully attack the Pirate King. Qin Yi looked at the puzzled sword dog and said with a smile, I am not saying this to mean you are bad, but I want you to stop doing such things. Sometimes, hiding will not save you a piece of meat. The sword dog listened to Qin Yi's words and fell into deep thought. Of course, the reason why you do this is because the Pirate King is much stronger than you. If the Pirate King were at the same level as you wouldn't be able to do such extreme operations. So. Qin Yi paused, looked at the sword dog looking up at him, and said with a grin, so let's work together and crush the enemy directly with a strength that far exceeds that of the enemy. Then we'll be done. Gah, that's right. Luoya shouted immediately. Wow. The sword dog came back to his senses and nodded vigorously. Zhuge, who was lying on the side, watched their operations and shouted lazily. Okay, I won't say much else. Let's continue training. Qin Yi called Luoya and the others to continue training. In fact, in the battle just now, Luoya still let go. He did not fight with his desperate fighting style of exchanging injuries for injuries, but fought with the sword dog in a very orderly manner. If he had used a life-threatening fighting style, the sword dog would have been gone long ago. Qin Yi knew all this, but he didn't say it out loud. Because there was no need to say it. After all, he just wanted to test the strength of the sword dogs in this battle, not to let the sword dogs know how powerful they were. June 13th. Qin Yi arrived at Yehai Forest early today and began to train sword dogs in the forest while testing the specific effects of his destiny talent. After releasing the fate of several identical spiritual beasts, he found that he was indeed right. In the interface showing the fate path, the last evolutionary path seen is the most suitable evolutionary path for it. He determined this information only after he saw that the evolutionary pathways of the 4 gray wolves were in different order. The fate interface he saw at that time was like this. Destiny. Big Bad Wolf, lower elite, no requirements are required, just upgrade normally. Powerful Wolf, lower elite, improve your own strength to at least 1.2 times the current level before reaching level 10. Destiny. Powerful Wolf, lower elite, improve your own strength to at least 2.1 times the current level before level 10. Big Bad Wolf, lower elite, no requirements are required, just upgrade normally. Patrolling Wolf, medium elite, improve its own speed, reaching at least 1.5 times the current speed before level 10. The gray wolf with the evolutionary path of the hunting wolf is a wolf that is much thinner than the normal gray wolf, but extremely fast. After seeing the wolf's fate interface and comparing it with several other groups of spirit beast interfaces, he knew he was right. After learning this conclusion, he instantly felt relieved. Of course, he also came to the conclusion that in the fate interface, if you see that the evolutionary paths have the same potential, you can choose them all, instead of having to choose the last one. Because the potentials are the same, it means that the difference after evolution will not be too big, so in his opinion, whichever one he chooses will be the same. Of course, if he had to choose, unless his spirit beast didn't want to evolve that way, otherwise he would still choose the last one. After all, no matter how similar it is, the last one will be slightly stronger. After coming to the conclusion, Qin Yi did not give up on releasing the spiritual beasts in the wild, but continued to release them. It's just that his goal has changed from releasing one by one to only releasing it on mounted spiritual beasts. For example, the gray wolf, the big bad wolf, the wind wolf, these are spiritual beasts that can travel on their behalf. He planned to find one with good potential among these spirit beasts, use the spirit summoning ball to tame it, and use it as a walking tool. Since there is no contracted riding spirit beast, he can only use the spirit summoning ball to catch one. Destiny. Swift Shadow Wolf, lower leader, no requirements are required, just upgrade normally. Storm Wolf, medium commander, before reaching an integer level, it must reach 3 times the speed of the normal Storm Wolf. That's it, capture it first and use it. Qin Yi looked at the one-eyed wolf not far away that was obviously faster than the wind wolves next to him, and said to Luoya, catch that one-eyed wolf. While speaking, he released his life path towards the remaining wind wolves. Qin Yi saw that they all only had the evolutionary path of Shadow Wolf, and shook his head. If you can kill them, kill them. If you can't kill them, let them go. We won't chase them. After Qin Yi gave orders to Luoya and the others, he walked alone towards the one-eyed wolf who was chopped to the ground by Luoya and was being guarded by Zhuge. He looked at the one-eyed wolf lying on the ground dying, and without speaking, he directly took out a spirit summoning ball from the spirit summoning space and threw it at the one-eyed wolf. With a snap, the spirit summoning ball hit the one-eyed wolf, and a bolt of lightning-like light rushed out from the spirit summoning ball, attacking the one-eyed wolf, completely wrapping the one-eyed wolf. Qin Yi looked at the one-eyed wolf that had disappeared, and couldn't help but sigh. The person who can create the spirit calling ball is truly a god. He watched the spirit calling ball swing on the ground for a few times, then stopped with a beeping sound, and the corners of his mouth could not help but raise slightly. Then, he stepped forward and picked up the spirit calling ball that fell beside Zhuge, shrunk it, and put it in his pocket. The spirit summoning ball containing the spirit beast cannot be stored in the spirit summoning space, so he can only put it in his pocket. When he returns home, he plans to get a pendant to hang on his chest like Luoya's soul calling ball. This one-eyed wolf is a level 14 wind wolf with medium elite potential, and is also the leader of the wolf pack just now. The strength of level 14 is a bit low for him, but there are no wolves around level 20 around. If he wants to find wolves around level 20, he can only go deep into the Yehai forest. But he was currently upgrading the sword dog's level, so he didn't go. It doesn't matter if the level is low, just practice slowly. He is not in a hurry now. He was anxious before because he was in the college entrance examination, but now that the college entrance examination is over, he is not in a hurry. He's catching it now just in case, just in case. What's more, this is not his contracted beast, it is just something he caught with the soul summoning ball, so he can change it. When the time comes when he encounters a better one, he can continue to catch it. Chapter 47 Check-in. June 20th. Hualing International Airport. A teenager wearing black printed short sleeves and brown casual shorts walked out of the plane. He stood at the entrance of the plane, looking up at the dazzling sunshine in the sky, and the corners of his mouth could not help but raise slightly. What are you doing? Let's go. Coming. Qin Yi saw Yi Sisi looking at him in front of him and walked up quickly. By the way, why are you here so early? Come and see. Well. Yi Sisi looked at Qin Yi, who was suddenly silent, and said with a smile, the training equipment here is much better than what I have at home, so I came here to train early and strive to get a good name in the freshman qualifying competition. Kurobi took him home successfully. Are you going to choose Kurobi? I'm short of someone in the front row, and Kurobi is just right for me. Yi Sisi looked at Qin Yi, who nodded, and asked curiously, what did you choose? Didn't I tell you? Qin Yi wondered. No. Yi Sisi said firmly. Oh. Qin Yi smiled and said, you will know then. Go away. Yi Sisi turned around and glared at him, then said a little aggrievedly, I told you what I chose, how could you do this? When Qin Yi saw this, he quickly said, guard dog. Guard dog. Yi Sisi exclaimed. Yeah. Qin Yi nodded. Yi Sisi came back to her senses and said speechlessly, the guard dog is about the same level as my Kurobi, what is there to hide? Qin Yi thought for a while and responded with a smile, because I like to see you feel aggrieved. Yi Sisi rolled her eyes, turned around and walked forward. Huh, no kidding. Qin Yi laughed loudly, and after catching up, he continued, my guard dog is a little different. What's different? Yi Sisi asked subconsciously. You'll know when the time comes. Qin Yi remained mysterious. After seeing that Qin Yi really didn't want to talk this time, Yi Sisi started talking about something else. In this way, they walked and chatted and arrived at the lobby of Hualing International Airport. Over there. Yi Sisi pointed to the left. Qin Yi looked in the direction Yi Sisi was pointing, and soon saw the signs of various schools erected there. Isn't this brand a little crude? It's just picking up people, why do you want to be so good? That's right. Qin Yi followed Yi Sisi and walked towards the midwifery office of Hualing University. The midwifery office of Huanling University. Fang Jianyuan looked at a man and a woman walking not far away, and said to Wu De, who was holding a sign next to him, "The quality of the freshmen this year is really good. I don't know which school these two are freshmen from." Wu De heard the sound and looked at the two people walking straight towards them. He instantly became energetic and said, "Sister. They are from our school." "Ah." Fang Yuanyuan was startled, then stood up straight and asked Qin Yi, who had already walked in front of them, "Are you the freshman of Summoning Spirit University this year?" "Yes, senior." Qin Yi said, took out the admission notice placed in the spirit summoning space and handed it to Fang Yuanyuan. His admission notice was brought by Mr. Zhong when he came to see off the spirit beast last time. Fang Yuanyuan took the admission notices from Qin Yi and Yi Cixi's hands, looked at each of them, and returned them to them. "Follow me, I'll take you there." Fang Yuanyuan said, and said to Wu De beside him, "I'll leave this to you, I'll leave first." "Bye." Wu De waved his hand ruthlessly. Wu De looked at the three people leaving and muttered, "Qin Yi, Yi Cixi, Qin Yi. Qin Yi." He suddenly turned back to look at the backs of Qin Yi and the others, and exclaimed, F***K. They are the best and second best in Yehai City. Did we take over the first and second places in Yehai City? The teachers who are enrolling students this year are really good. We recruited them all in one package. Although Yehai City is not a first-tier city, Yehai City is at the top of the second-tier cities. It is not an exaggeration to say that it has only half a foot in the first-tier cities. What's more, this time Yehai City produced two masters with 8,000 points in actual combat, who really stole the show in every second-tier city. It's not that easy to get 8,000 points in the actual exam. According to Wu De's understanding, less than 20 people got 8,000 points in the practical exam this time. Among the less than 20 people, there were two from Yehai City. It was difficult for him to understand them. Wu De looked at their retreating figures and couldn't help but smacked his lips. There will be something good to see in the freshman qualifying competition this year. Fei Hong from Summoning City, Lu Junyan from Sword Spirit City, and the two of them, there are already 7 people with 8,000 points in actual combat here. The Gate of Soul Calling University. Thank you. Fang Jianyuan thanked the junior student who was driving, then turned to Qin Yi and the others and said, "Follow me, I'll take you to check in." Although the sign they held at the airport was simple, the equipment for picking people up was still very advanced. If someone else takes the bus, they will pick you up in a private car. That's it. Fang Yuanyuan pointed to the 2-story building not far away. Qin Yi heard the news and said, "There are so few people. There will be more people in a few days." Fang Yuanyuan said with a smile, "The 25th and 26th are the peak periods. If you have nothing to do then, you can come and take a look. It is guaranteed to be crowded." "Okay." Qin Yi nodded. Walking into the registration office, Fang Yuanyuan looked at the people sitting not far away and shouted, "Stop playing, there are new people here. Sister Fang, keep your voice down." The leading man couldn't help but twitch the corner of his mouth slightly. Sister Fang is still full of energy. The woman glanced at Qin Yi and Yi Cixi beside Fan Yuanyuan, then turned to look at Fan Yuanyuan and said, "Sister Fang, where did you kidnap the junior fellow student from?" Fang Yuanyuan laughed and said, "Broken from Huanling International Airport." Qin Yi and Yi Cixi listened to their words, looked at each other, and remained silent. Not long after, Fang Yuanyuan led Qin Yi and Yi Cixi to the man who spoke first and said, "Qian Zhong, just register with him." Qin Yi looked at the man who was looking at him curiously and shouted, "Hello, senior." Yi Cixi followed, "Hello, senior." Qian Zhong smiled and nodded, "Take out the admission notice and ID card and let me register." Qin Yi took out his admission notice and ID card and handed them to Qian Zhong. Qian Zhong picked up his ID card and swiped it on the machine next to him, then turned to look at the screen beside him. He looked at the information displayed on the screen and was slightly stunned. Qin Yi in Yehai City? Qian Zhong looked at Qin Yi. Without waiting for Qin Yi's response, Fang Yuanyuan, who was waiting for this scene, laughed and said, "How is it? Am I awesome?" "Awesome." Qian Zhong couldn't help but give a thumbs up to Fang Yuanyuan. No one else is lucky enough to be able to make friends with Qin Yi and Yi Sisi in advance with reasonable reasons. After seeing Qin Yi's message, he remembered Yi Sisi's message. These two are the two heroes of Yehai City. After Qian Zhong showed his thumbs, he said to Qin Yi, "Wait a minute, your tuition is free and you don't have to pay." Qin Yi, "Okay." Chapter 48 Wood Dragon Root. That's it. Qian Zhong handed the admission notice and ID cards to Qin Yi and Yi Sisi, then pointed to the paper with the QR code on the side, "Scan it, download it, and then register. This is the official software of our school, Soul Calling University." When Qin Yi heard this name, he murmured in his heart, "This name is so direct." Then, Qian Zhong briefly explained to them the functions of the software, Calling Spirit University. Its function is probably to check your points on this software, use points to redeem various items, use points to reserve various settings, etc. After Qian Zhong roughly explained the functions of the software, he took out an exquisite key from the drawer and handed it to Qin Yi. "This is the key to your dormitory. You have an independent dormitory. Your dormitory is at number 1007, East District, living area." "Okay, thank you." Qin Yi took the key and put it into the spirit summoning space. After Qian Zhong handed the key to Qin Yi, he took out another key from the drawer and said, "You also have an independent dormitory. Yours is at number 1004, West District." "Thank you." Yi Sisi took the key. Fangji Wanyuan looked at Yi Sisi and said, "Let's go, I'll take you to the dormitory." "Sorry to trouble you." Yi Sisi was a little embarrassed. "No trouble." Fang Yuanyuan smiled and waved. On the side, Qin Yi saw Yi Sisi looking at him, smiled, raised his phone and shook it. "The phone has a map." "Yeah." Yi Sisi nodded slightly. Immediately afterwards, Yi Sisi and Fang Yuanyuan left the registration office. Qian Zhong looked at Qin Yi, who was standing there playing with his mobile phone, and asked, "Do you need me to take you there?" "No, thank you, I'll just look around myself." Qin Yi shook his head and rejected Qian Zhong's kindness. "Okay." Qian Zhong didn't pay attention. Instead, he introduced several practical places to Qin Yi in Summoning Spirit University. "Thank you." Qin Yi thanked him again and left the registration area. "Mr. Zhong. Why didn't you tell me when you were here?" "Hey, Mr. Zhong, I haven't had time yet." Qin Yi held up the phone and scratched his head in embarrassment. "Let's go out for dinner tonight." "Okay, Mr. Zhong." Qin Yi hung up the phone, looked up at the building with the words Jinbao Pavilion hanging in front of him, and walked straight in. After walking in, he looked at the people walking around, silently came to a place where a tablet was placed and sat down. He fumbled around for a while, and after familiarizing himself with the basic functions, he began to look for items related to the wood attribute dragon. Wood dragon root, yellow, a root that has been nourished by an unknown wood attribute dragon spirit beast. It contains rich wood attribute energy. That's it. Qin Yi searched, and finally chose wood dragon root. Wood dragon root, wood dragon stone, are these two related? Qin Yi looked at the wood dragon root in front of him and couldn't help but think of the wood dragon stone before. Maybe it has something to do with it. Qin Yi muttered and clicked the OK button on the lower right. The next moment, a QR code appeared in front of him. He took out his mobile phone, followed the operation procedure written next to the QR code, and scanned the QR code. The next second, two options appeared in his mobile phone interface. Points redemption, 5,000 points required, your current points are not enough. Permission redemption, you have the right to redeem yellow quality items for free once. Qin Yi looked at the small print under the options and the awkward first option, and silently clicked on the second option. Redeem successful. Qin Yi looked at the four words in front of him and couldn't help but raise the corners of his mouth slightly. Then, two more first choices appeared in front of him. Ask him whether to pick it up on site or mail it. After Qin Yi chose to pick it up on the spot, he stood up and walked towards the front desk. "Hello, do you need any help?" the man at the front desk asked. "Get something." Qin Yi put the serial number on the phone interface in front of the man. The man looked at the picture on Qin Ye's phone, nodded and said, "Okay, please wait." With that said, he began to operate. They could only see the serial number, but not the items Qin Ye exchanged. Not long after, a middle-aged man who looked very powerful walked out of the elevator nearby and walked towards Qin Ye. Number 78? The middle-aged man glanced at Qin Ye. Yeah. Qin Ye also looked at the middle-aged man in front of him. Follow me. The middle-aged man turned and walked toward the room next to him. Qin Ye followed the middle-aged man into the room. Inside the room. After the middle-aged man sat down, he took out a black wooden box from the spirit summoning space and placed it on the coffee table in front of him. Your things. The middle-aged man pushed the black wooden box in front of Qin Ye. Qin Ye opened the black wooden box, looked at the ordinary green roots and branches inside, and threw the soul-calling pupil away. After seeing that the effect displayed in front of him was similar to what he just saw on the tablet, he closed the black wooden box and said to the middle-aged man, "Thank you." The middle-aged man shook his head, looked at Qin Ye curiously, and asked, "Qin Ye?" Qin Ye was stunned for a moment, then nodded. "How is your dad lately?" After the middle-aged man asked, he explained sheepishly, "Qin Yitian, your dad's former classmate. You look a bit similar to Qin Ming, so I took a guess." "Ah. Oh." Qin Ye suddenly understood and responded with a smile, "My dad is living a very comfortable life." "That's good." Qin Yitian smiled and continued, "Add your contact information, you can contact me if you need anything." "Thank you, Uncle Qing." After Qin Ye got Qin Yitian's contact information, he suddenly thought of something and asked, "Uncle Qing, is there any relationship between this wood dragon root and wood dragon stone?" "You really asked the right person." Qing Tian smiled and said, "These two items were sent by one person, and I received them at the time." "What? You want to know where this thing comes from?" Qin Ye shook his head quickly, No. When I was exchanging points for items, I saw the wooden dragon stone, so I was curious if the two things were together." "We are together." Qin Yitian smiled, "Is there anything else you want to ask?" "No more." Qin Ye shook his head. Qin Yitian pointed to the green wooden box on the coffee table and looked at Qin Ye, then put the things away. "I'll take it now." Qin Ye threw the cyan wooden box directly into the spirit summoning space. Immediately afterwards, he chatted with Qin Ye for a few words before leaving the treasure pavilion. Living area. East End. The entrance to dormitory number 1007. Qin Ye looked at the two-story villa in front of him, then looked at the font size printed on the key in his hand, and couldn't help but take a breath. As expected of Summoning Spirit University, this dormitory is so generous. Qin Ye sighed, walked forward, and opened the door with the key. Entering the room, he looked at the spacious space inside, and with a wave of his hand, he directly summoned Zhuge and the others. "Play by yourself, I'll take your fingerprints." Gah. Woof. P.S. Thunder Dragon Stone has been changed to Wood Dragon Stone. Chapter 49 Gravity Training Room. The next day. Morning. Qin Ye had just closed the door when he heard the door opening from the side. After he saw the face of the young man walking out of the villa clearly, and just when he turned his head to continue walking, the young man's voice came from the side. "Morning. Morning." Qin Ye turned around and responded. "Sword Spirit City, Lu Junyan." "Yi-Hai, Qin Ye." "Damn it. Two heroes from Yi-Hai." Lu Junyan shouted in surprise. Qin Ye fell silent immediately. He was speechless. Who the hell would come up with this title? I'm sorry." Lu Junyan continued, "Are you going to have breakfast?" Qin Ye, training. Lu Junyan was silent for a few seconds and silently gave a thumbs up. He is worthy of being one of the two heroes of Yi-Hai. "Let's go." Qin Ye said, turned around and walked forward. "Wait for me." Lu Junyan quickly chased after him. "Are you going to train too?" "No, just on my way." Gravity Training Room, one of the basic training venues of Summoning University. Qin Ye walked into the location of the Gravity Training Room. After some skillful questioning, he opened a gravity training room. Welcome to the gravity training room. I am the intelligent elf of the gravity training room, gravity number 17. If you need anything, you can call me. Qin Yi listened to the sounds around him, waved his hand, and 3 rays of light appeared around him. He looked at Zhuge and the others who appeared in front of him and said with a smile, "This is the gravity training room. Please be prepared. You will be subjected to 1.2 times the gravity later." Qin Yi didn't plan to apply 1.5 times or 2 times the gravity when he came up. He planned to try 1.2 times the gravity first, and then gradually increase it until one of them couldn't bear it anymore. "Come on." Luoya took the lead in shouting, followed closely by Zhuge, and the sword dog remained silent. From the time they passed the college entrance examination to now, their strength has also undergone earth-shaking changes. At this time, Luoya's strength has reached level 26, and Zhuge has reached level 23. As for the sword dog is already level 16, and is only 4 levels away from level 20. In the process of helping the sword dog upgrade, Qin Yi had silently let the sword dog complete 10 sword duels. As for the process, of course it uses spirit coins. He went to a spirit animal paradise that catered specifically for junior and intermediate spirit summoners. In that paradise, he let the sword dogs kill 10 each of 2 kinds of spiritual beasts with swords and knives. These 2 spiritual beasts are the crazy sword pig and the jackal sword wolf. The crazy sword pig is a pig with a sword in its mouth. This pig looks like a rare spiritual beast, but in fact it is just a common ordinary spiritual beast. Crazy sword pigs are distributed around Sword Spirit City, which is Lu Junyan's hometown. The jackal knife wolf is the same as the guard dog. The guard dog is a dog holding a knife, and the jackal knife wolf is a jackal holding a knife. Although the 2 are the same, their potential is vastly different. Most of the jackal wolf's potentials are medium extraordinary, while the guard dog's potential is medium elite. Yes, most of the initial potential of guard dogs are mid-level elites, not low-level elites. As for why only these 2 kinds of spirit beasts are killed, it is because Yehai City only has this spirit beast paradise that serves junior and intermediate spiritual summoners, and this paradise only has these 2 kinds of sword-wielding spirit beasts. So he could only silently find these 2 kinds of 20 spiritual beasts with a higher level than the sword dog, and let the sword dog kill them ruthlessly, turning it into a pleasant experience. After killing these 2 spiritual beasts, he did not continue searching. He planned to wait until the sword dog reached level 20. If the sword dog has not evolved yet after reaching level 20, then keep looking. It is more convenient to search in Huanling City than in Yehai City. So he didn't panic at all. Gravity number 17, the gravity is increased to 1.2 times. Qin Yi said. Okay, now gravity is 1.2 times. After gravity number 17 finished speaking, Qin Yi instantly felt his body sinking a little. Is this 1.2 times? Qin Yi was speechless. It feels like that's all it is. Qin Yi moved and said, 1.3 times. Okay, now gravity is 1.3 times. Qin Yi felt it and couldn't help but sigh, I am so strong now. He felt that he should have no problem beating a level 20 spiritual beast now. Qin Yi didn't even look at Zhuge and the others and said directly, 1.5 times. If he can bear it, then Zhuge and the others can too. Gravity is now 1.5 times. This gravity is about the same. Qin Yi felt it and looked up at the sword dog beside him. He looked at the sword dog's frown, nodded with satisfaction, and then looked at Zhuge and Luoya. After he saw Zhuge's expressionless face, he knew that this gravity was just like that to Zhuge. How do you feel? Qin Yi asked Luoya. Gah, not bad. Luoya clenched his fists. That's it. Qin Yi looked at Zhuge and the others and said, in these 2 hours, Zhuge will train his control and strive to reach the speed of walking outside here as soon as possible. Luoya and Sword Dog, you 2 will interact with each other. Let's train. Gah! Luoya shouted immediately, while the other 2 nodded silently. I'll practice with you too. After Qin Yi saw them starting training, he also took out a wooden sword and started swinging it alone. He didn't dare to waste 1 hour and 1 point in the gravity training room. He only has 100 points now. Of course, not every freshman has 100 points. The reason why he has it is because he has an A+ level contract. The A+ level contract will give him 100 points every month for 12 months. After 12 months, if the strength and potential do not meet their requirements, then his contract will be downgraded. So for the sake of life and strength, how could he not work hard? As for other contracts, he didn't know how many points he would be given per month for other contracts, but he knew the points for freshmen without contracts. Freshmen without contracts were given 30 points per month, which was 70 points less than him. If you have 70 points more than others, if you are not as good as others, then it is better to go out and be hit by a car, and it will be over. Night. Qin Yi, who was still 100 meters away from the dormitory, couldn't help but be stunned for a moment when he saw Lu Junyan standing at the door waving to him not far away. "Good evening, what can I do?" Qin Yi took a few steps forward and asked. Lu Junyan grinned and responded, "There will be a freshman party later, will you go?" "Party?" Qin Yi was startled, then asked, "How many people are here now?" "Not many, just over 50. Lu Junyan said, wondering, "Didn't you join the group?" "Is there a group?" Qin Yi wondered why he didn't hear this. Of course there is a group. Listening to Qin Yi's words, Lu Junyan knew that he had not visited the Soul Summoning University forum too much. So he took out his phone, opened the forum skillfully, turned it over, pointed at the interface on the phone, and said to Qin Yi, who was standing at the door not far away, "On the forum of Summoning University, someone posted a post, and this is it." Post. Huanling University Freshman Exchange Station. Qin Yi looked at the small words on Lu Junyan's phone not far away and nodded slightly, "I understand." Chapter 50 The First Mission. "Are you going?" Lu Junyan asked again. "No." Qin Yi shook his head, "I don't like crowded places, and I've already had dinner." He didn't even go to his last high school reunion, let alone go to dinner with a group of people he didn't know. "Okay, I'll leave first." Lu Junyan waved his hand. Qin Yi looked at Lu Junyan's leaving figure, opened the door and walked in. He had a very fulfilling day today. After experiencing the gravity training room for 2 hours in the morning, he went to the training places with earth attributes, water attributes and general attributes in the afternoon, allowing Zhuge and the others to experience an environment rich in their own attributes. The feeling of training. To be honest, the effect is really good, and the speed of gaining experience is not much slower than when they kill spiritual beasts outside. The effect is good, but the points are a bit wasteful. Although the attribute training place of their level is the same as the gravity training room, with 1 point per hour, the spiritual beasts that cannot resist him all have different attributes. If his contracted beasts all have the same attributes, then he would still be very comfortable, but unfortunately he is not, and the result of not being that is that he needs to spend more points than others. Work hard to earn points. After returning to the dormitory, Qin Yi took Zhuge and the others to train in the underground training room for a while, then ended today's training. After he took a shower, he took out a bottle of apricot sparkling water from the refrigerator and sat down on the chair in the room. He picked up the mobile phone placed on the table beside him and skillfully opened the Spirit Summoning University. Then, he fumbled for a while, found the task icon, and clicked on it without hesitation. Yes, he was going to see if there were any tasks he could do now. He looked at the many tasks that appeared in front of him and searched carefully. He actually found a task that was more suitable for him at this stage. Find a sparring partner, below level 20. Task Introduction. Let me test the current strength of my baby with a powerful spiritual beast. My baby is a level 15 fire attribute Fire Fist Monkey. Task Requirements. Spirit beasts below level 20. If you think your strength is comparable to spirit beasts below level 20, you can come. Task Time. 1 p.m. 4 p.m. Wait for my notification when to come. Task Reward. 1 point/2 hours, 1 point for less than 2 hours. Fire Fist Monkey. The fire attribute evolution of the little fist monkey. Qin Yi muttered and decisively accepted the task. Just when he accepted this task, an interface popped up. Qin Yi looked at the information on the interface and suddenly realized, no wonder this mission hasn't been taken over yet. The information on the interface asked him to fill in his spiritual beasts that met the mission requirements. Ba, bang, bang. Qin Yi quickly filled in the basic information about the sword dog and then went to find other tasks. He wrote down the sword dog's spirit animal name, level and attributes. Not long after, the phone beeped. Qin Yi glanced at it and was stunned for a moment when he saw that the mission was successfully accepted. But soon, he sat up straight and opened the chat interface to contact the task publisher. Fire Fist, are you there? Turtle Duck Dog, yes. Fire Fist, do you really have a guard dog? Qin Yi casually took a photo of the sword dog and sent it. At this time, the sword dog was sitting cross-legged on the ground, holding a tablet in his hand and reading a comic called Sword God. He didn't know the words, but he could still understand the pictures. Every exquisite pattern on the tablet makes the sword dog look at it with gusto. Fire Fist, it's true. Fire Fist, are you free tomorrow? Turtle, Duck and Dog, yes. Fire Fist, then tomorrow at 1 p.m. Turtle Duck Dog, okay. Fire Fist, when the time comes you come here. Turtle Duck Dog, no problem. Qin Yi briefly chatted with him for a few words, then took a shower and went to bed. This time he only accepted this task. It's not that he can't complete other people's tasks, but that he has found so many tasks, so this task is somewhat cost-effective. Although this task is sparring, sparring is also a type of training. Even if the levels are almost the same, there is still an improvement effect. What's more, the points awarded for this task are not low. The next afternoon. After Qin Yi trained in the gravity training room for 2 hours in the morning, he had lunch and then arrived at the agreed-upon location. The agreed location was in another dormitory area. Qin Yi stepped forward and rang the doorbell several times. Not long after, a man with red hair opened the door. The red-haired man looked at Qin Yi standing at the door, frowned slightly, and then thought of something, and his confused pupils suddenly became energetic. Turtle, Duck, Dog? Yes. Qin Yi nodded. Come on. Fire Fist led Qin Yi into the villa. Hua Fist walked to the refrigerator, took out a bottle of soda from the refrigerator and handed it to Qin Yi. You came on time. Thank you. Qin Yi took the soda and continued, I'll have a good meal soon. Hua Fist briefly chatted with Qin Yi for a few words, and then took Qin Yi to the underground training room. The underground training room is a standard feature of every villa. Whether it is a villa for one person, a villa for 2 people, or a villa for 3 people, it all has its own underground training room. The dormitories assigned to students by Summoning University are, at worst, 3 people living in a villa. Come out, Fist. After Fire Fist summoned the Fire Fist monkey, he introduced to Qin Yi, he is my Fire Fist monkey, Fist. Qin Yi looked at the little monkey who was red in color and exuding infinite fighting spirit, and nodded slightly, very good. That's natural. Fire Fist smiled and said, let your guard dog out. As Qin Yi thought, the sword dog's summoning light appeared beside him. Soon, Fire Fist saw the guard dog appearing next to Qin Yi. Wow! Fire Fist exclaimed, this guard dog looks so strong. This look, this aura, is not something that a weak person can imitate. Not bad. The corners of Qin Yi's mouth raised slightly. Is this really level 16? Fire Fist looked at the guard dog, then at the fist beside him, and instantly felt that his fist was a little weaker in terms of momentum. You can release the soul summoning eyes to see. Qin Yi said. No need for Qin Yi to say anything, Fire Fist had already released the spirit summoning eye. Fire Fist looked at the information that appeared in front of him, and then realized that something was wrong with the guard dog in front of him. How come you, the guard dog, are holding a long sword? Fire Fist saw the name of the sword dog's talent, but he still asked subconsciously. It's due to talent. Qin Yi smiled. No wonder. Fire Fist muttered, pointing at the sword dog not far away, and asked the fist beside him, are you confident that you can defeat it? Squeak! Fist yelled, Raising his hands with head held high and B******************* G them twice. Very good. Fire Fist showed a satisfied smile, then looked at Qin Yi and said, let's get started. Chapter 51 Sword Dog, Evolution. What do you need me to do? Just let your guard dog block the fist attack. Okay. Qin Yi turned to the sword dog and said, just block its attack. The sword dog nodded slightly with sharp eyes. What a cold guard dog. Fire Fist muttered, and said to Fist, come on, let him see your strength. Squeak. His fist was like a car that had been braked and accelerator stepped on by a roadkill. It started suddenly and punched. After the sword dog's sharp eyes turned expressionless, he calmly waved his sword to resist. With a bang, the fist attack hit the sword dog's blade. Bang 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 bang. The fists were waved like a storm, but unfortunately these attacks were easily resisted by the sword dog one after another. Holy shit! Fire Fist exclaimed, this dog's reaction speed is so strong. When Qin Yi heard this, he couldn't help but raise the corners of his mouth slightly. The sword dog's swordsmanship is no joke. The two sides were attacking each other, and the Fire Fist monkey might still find a chance to attack the sword dog, but now, Qin Yi shook his head secretly. When the sword dog is fully defensive, unless you are much stronger than him, he will not give you a chance to attack him. This is the conclusion Qin Yi came to after watching dozens of battles between Luoya and Sword Dog. Fire Fist saw that his fist could not attack for a long time, and said happily, yes, this opponent is not bad. Although he was a little puzzled in his heart, he was even more happy. The fist has never hit any part of the guard dog except the blade, but when the fist hits the part of the guard dog except the blade, it means that his fist is stronger than before, which can be seen with the naked eye. Progress. Thinking of this, Hua Fist asked Qin Yi, are you free in the next few days? Qin Yi thought for a moment and said, there should be. Let's add a contact information. If you don't have time, just tell me. If you have time, we can train for 2 hours every day. Fire Fist said with a smile. Sparring with other contract beasts of your own can improve the strength of your fists, but there is no comparison. Without comparison, he would not know how strong his fist was among spiritual beasts of the same level, whether it was strong or weak. Now that he has a suitable opponent who can easily block his own fist attacks, he naturally has to keep it firmly in his hands. Qin Yi was startled, then nodded, okay. After Fire Fist got Qin Yi's contact information, he said to Qin Yi, if you are bored, you can train other contracted beasts. The venue here is still very big. Thank you. Qin Yi was not polite after hearing this. After taking a look at the sword dog, he summoned Luoya. As for Zhuge, Zhuge is sleeping. Zhuge didn't sleep less because of his improved strength. Qin Yi even felt that he slept a little longer than before. Of course, Zhuge's sleep was not a dead sleep. If Qin Yi called him, he would still wake up and come out to train. If Qin Yi didn't call him, he would naturally go to sleep. After all, sleeping is also part of how he improves his strength. It's a pirate duck. Fire Fist exclaimed. He didn't know how many times he was surprised by the young man in front of him. Yes. Qin Yi nodded. Luoya also looked at Fire Fist curiously. Hua Fist looked at Luoya with envy in his heart. First it's the guard dog, then it's the pirate duck. This guy's contracted beast is a bit fierce. After Hua Quan was envious, he looked at Qin Yi and asked, you are a new student, right? The aura exuded by this pirate duck, at first glance, is not the aura that should be possessed by someone over 30. Just came here a few days ago. No wonder. Fire Fist nodded and didn't ask any more questions. He just silently remembered Qin Yi and his contracted beast. 2 hours later, Hua Fist stood at the door, looked at Qin Yi and said with a smile, Zhang Quan, right of all. Qin Yi. Qin Yi responded. Your boy's strength is really good. Zhang Quan sighed again. Qin Yi smiled, chatted with Zhang Quan for a few words, and then left. This year's freshmen are really strong. Zhang Quan looked at Qin Yi's back, took out his cell phone, closed the door, and started looking for information about Qin Yi. Not long after, he looked at the message on his phone and murmured to himself, "No wonder he is so strong, he turned out to be this year's 8,000-point player. That's not right. Aren't 8,000-point players at least on A-level contracts? Isn't the 80 points in the A-level contract not enough for him?" Zhang Quan shook his head in confusion. Qin Yi left Zhang Quan's dormitory and went to the Earth Attribute Training Ground, where he opened an hour of training time for Zhuge to train. Zhang Quan's sparring task was still very simple. In these 2 hours, the sword dog fought with fists intermittently 5 times. Among these 5 times, 4 were pure sparring sessions, and only the last one was a real fight. Then, Zhang Quan saw the scene of his fist being tortured. Then, there was what Zhang Quan said when he just left. Time passed slowly. June 30th, the day before school starts. When Qin Yi saw that the number in brackets after the sword dog level reached 99%, he quickly returned to the dormitory and started training in the underground training room of the dormitory. Soon after, as a ray of evolutionary light landed on the sword dog out of thin air, Qin Yi clenched his fists excitedly and shouted, "Ha, let me tell you, how can it be so difficult?" After Qin Yi finished speaking, he immediately sat cross-legged, preparing to welcome the coming huge energy. Each time the contracted beast evolves, it will feed back a large amount of energy to its own spiritual master. Qin Yi looked at the sword dog that had grown taller in the evolutionary light and said, "Just like the Pirate King, it suddenly grew from the height of a little kid to the height of a 12-year-old boy. If you evolve again, you should be almost as tall as me." In fact, he likes the current appearance of Luoya and Sword Dog. They are so cute and handsome now. When they evolve again, they will only be handsome. Race, Swordsman Dog. Level 20, 1 out of 100. Attribute, General. Potential, High Commander, 66/100. Talent, Sword Heart, 8 Heavenly and Moon Styles. Skills, Double/Perfect, Sword Drawing / Perfect, Fighting Will, Perfect, Sword Will, Perfect, Dark Moon / Proficient, Shadow Step, Basic. Introduction: a guard dog with the talent of Sword Heart accidentally activates the dark attribute hidden deep in the body due to the huge power of evolution, and thus accidentally awakens the talent named Tianhua 8 Styles. Qin Yi looked at the panel interface in front of him, blinked, looked up at the sword dog, then looked down at the panel again. After going back and forth several times, he said a little speechlessly, "The origin of this dog cannot be unusual. It cannot be the missing son of some big boss." Seeing Qin Yi looking back and forth, the sword dog asked in confusion, "Woof?" "Nothing." Qin Yi shook his head and said with a smile, "How do you feel?" "Woof woof, very good." The sword dog's expressionless face showed a hint of joy. "Okay." Qin Yi breathed a sigh of relief. After letting Sword Dog, Luoya and the others go to play, he continued to look down at Sword Dog's panel. Chapter 52: The 8 Movements of the Sky and the Moon, the Changes of Luoya. 8 movements of heaven and moon, combining the essence of heaven and earth and the spirituality of the moon. Each movement contains deep dark attribute energy and power. The first style, Waning Moon, the rich essence of heaven and earth and the spiritual moon of the moon merge into the waning moon, causing powerful dark attribute attacks on surrounding targets. Second style, Half Moon, the rich essence of heaven and earth and the spirituality of the moon merge into a half moon. The third form, Full Moon, the rich essence of heaven and earth and the spirituality of the moon merge into a full moon. The fourth type, Unawakened, the proportion of one's own dark attributes is insufficient. The fifth type, Unawakened, the proportion of one's own dark attributes is insufficient. What a simple and mindless introduction. Qin Yi looked at the skill introduction of the first 3 moves and sighed softly. Then he looked at the last 5 moves and saw the same unawakened requirements. Qin Yi couldn't help but twitch the corner of his mouth. He didn't expect that he had contracted a spiritual beast with fake normal attributes but actually dark attributes. Isn't the awakening requirement above just telling you to increase the proportion of his dark attributes? It seems that dark attribute spiritual beasts cannot be contracted. Qin Yi shook his head and looked at the other 2 skill effects. The effects of the other two skills were obvious just by looking at their names. However, after reading them, the effects were no different from what he thought. One is an attack skill with dark attributes, and the other is a speed skill with dark attributes. One attack and one assist is okay. In general, the sword dog has gained 4 attack skills and 1 auxiliary skill through this evolution. Qin Yi read it again and found nothing missing. He turned to look at Luoya and the others who were training with each other and couldn't help but be stunned. He was fuming and suddenly shouted, F***K. I forgot about the ghost body and mind. Luoya and the other 2 people heard the sound and left. Zhuge looked up at Qin Yi, thought for a moment, and then silently turned to look at Luoya. Luoya was confused for a few seconds, and suddenly he woke up. He had thought of it. As for the sword dog, when he saw the changes in the expressions of Zhuge and Luoya, he knew that this matter had nothing to do with him and it was something that happened before he came. Therefore, he did not continue training, but showed curiosity. I forgot by accident. Qin Yi looked at Luoya and asked with a smile, why didn't you remind me? Luoya was stunned for a moment. Qin Yi searched the spirit's summoning space and took out a transparent container. A blue shadow was shaking left and right inside the container. Come on, eat this quickly. Qin Yi put the container containing ghost body and mind on the ground and waved to Luoya. Luoya came to his senses and walked up quickly. The surrounding Zhuge and sword dogs also took a few steps forward curiously. Wait a minute, let me see if there are any new changes in your destiny. Qin Yi said, releasing his destiny towards Luoya. Destiny. Captain Duck, Medium Lord need to own a pirate ship. There's really no change. Qin Yi pursed his lips, looked at Luoya and said, eat it. Gah. Luoya nodded vigorously. Immediately afterwards, Luoya opened the transparent container under Qin Yi's gaze. The next moment, the ghost body and mind in the transparent container suddenly flew up. Just when it was about to fly out, the huge mouth of Luoya had already opened. Then, the ghost's body and mind flew into Luoya's mouth. Bull! Qin Yi looked at Luoya's operation and silently gave him a thumbs up. Gah! Luoya shouted proudly. But as soon as he finished shouting, his proud face began to twist. Qin Yi looked at this scene and encouraged, come on. You are the duck who wants to become the pirate king. You can't scream at this step. Patience is also part of the training. Gah! Luoya took a deep breath, and his distorted face gradually calmed down at this moment. Awesome! Qin Yi opened his mouth. He really didn't expect that these words could bring such powerful power to Luoya. Not long after, Qin Yi looked at Luoya, who was wrapped in many faint blue shadows, and unleashed his life on the sword dog beside him. Luoya had gone through the most painful period, so naturally he couldn't wait any longer. Destiny. Swordsman dog, High Lord defeat 1,000 swordsmen, creatures with swords or knives, alone whose strength is no less than themselves. Once achieved, you can evolve, greater than level 50, evolve immediately, greater than or equal to level 30, less than 50 level, with a chance to evolve. Dark Moon Dog, Quasi-King understand the dark attribute sword intention, and defeat 1,000 swordsmen, creatures with swords or knives, whose strength is no less than yourself alone. If you achieve it, you can evolve. If you are above level 50, you will evolve immediately. If you are above level 50, you will evolve immediately. Or equal to level 30, less than level 50, there is a chance of evolution. It's already 1,000 now, will it be 10,000 next? Qin Yi was a little worried. 1,000 swordsmen from level 20 to level 50 are easy to find, but 10,000 swordsmen after level 50 are not so easy to find. Of course, if you can evolve a little earlier and reach level 40, that would be okay. At least it's better than level 50 evolution. Take your time, get these 1,000 first. Qin Yi took out his mobile phone and started looking for the Spirit Beast Paradise in Qihuoling City. Time passed slowly. As the blue shadow surrounding Luoya gradually disappeared, Qin Yi also put down his cell phone. He looked at Luoya, who was standing there no different from before, and threw a soul-calling pupil without hesitation. Race, Pirate Duck. Level 29, 77 out of 100. Attribute, Water. Potential, High Commander, 42/100. Talent, Plunder, Desperate Situation, Ghost Form. Skills, Water Wave / Superb, Fighting Intent, Superb. Water Shield, Perfect, Shadow / Proficient, Ghost Clone, Basic. Introduction, a middle-aged duck who dreams of becoming the Pirate King. Level 29, High Commander. Qin Yi watched as the pirate duck's level increased by 29 from the original level 28, and its potential also increased from the original medium commander to a high commander. He couldn't help but sigh, the effect of purple quality heavenly materials and earthly treasures still strong. Immediately afterwards, Qin Yi couldn't help but be startled when he looked at the extra talents and skills. These talents and skills seemed to be a little different from the introduction seen on the exchange interface. Qin Yi came back to his senses and began to check the effect. Ghost Form, you can enter the ghost form at any time. In the ghost form, you will not feel pain, and the physical damage you receive will be reduced. Shadow / the sword follows the shadow, as fast as lightning, and can cause huge damage to surrounding targets. Ghost Clone, summon a clone with 30% of its own strength. Sure enough, it's a little different. Qin Yi looked at the talent effect of Ghost Form, and couldn't help but slightly raise the corners of his mouth. The effect of this talent is a bit powerful, much more powerful than the effect in the introduction. The effect in the introduction is that of Ghost Clone, but its effect is an advanced version of Ghost Clone. Qin Yi felt that after Luoya mastered Ghost Clone to perfection, its effect should not be much worse than Fire Body and Mind. Chapter 53 Luoya's New Destiny, the Power of the 8 Heavenly Moon Styles. Let me see if there are any new changes in your destiny. Qin Yi looked at Luoya, who was still digesting the energy brought by the ghost's body and mind, and threw it directly. Destiny. Captain Duck, High Lord need to own a pirate ship. Ghost Duck, Quasi-King improve its own ghost attribute so that it accounts for at least 30% of itself, currently 15%. The more ghost attributes account for, the greater the chance of evolution when the number is an integer. When the proportion of ghost attributes accounts for when it exceeds the water attribute, it will evolve immediately. This change is quite big. Qin Yi was shocked. Not to mention the new Ghost Duck, he was stunned by the evolutionary potential of Captain Light Duck from a middle lord to a high lord. Not bad. Not bad. Qin Yi once again felt the power of destiny. At the same time, he felt that he could do whatever he wanted in the future. This is the proportion of the ghost attribute. Qin Yi looked at the last prompt from the Ghost Duck and released the soul summoning pupil towards Luoya again. Attribute, Water, 80%, Ghost, 15%, Gold, 3%. Qin Yi looked at the proportion information in brackets behind Luoya's attributes and fell silent. Forget it, let's get 30% first. This 80% water really made him feel a little bit scared. It is obviously impossible to make Luoya's ghost attribute exceed the water attribute in a short period of time. Of course, it is not impossible if there are a few more purple quality ghost attribute heavenly materials and earthly treasures. It's a pity that he didn't, he is very poor now. Not long after, Qin Yi, who was wandering around the forum, heard the cries of Luoya and looked up at Luoya. How do you feel? Quack. Quack. Luoya danced excitedly. That's fine. Qin Yi watched Luoya stop his movements and smiled at Zhuge beside him. Wake up. When you wake up, help them test the new skills they just acquired. I have just acquired a new ability, and of course I need to test it. And the best test subject is naturally Zhuge. Yeah, Zhuge nodded, he was used to it. After Qin Yi saw that Zhuge was ready, he looked at Luoya and Jian Quan and asked, which one of you will come first? Ga, I'm coming. Luoya shouted first. The sword dog opened his mouth, but finally made no sound. Qin Yi looked at this scene and said to Luoya, let the sword dog come first. Luoya was confused, but after seeing the sword dog's expression, he shouted without any hesitation, yeah. Yes, you have grown up. Qin Yi smiled and touched Luoya's head, and said to the sword dog, "Go ahead." "Woof woof." The sword dog shouted twice to Luoya before walking forward. Not long after, Qin Yi watched the sword dog stand in a suitable position and said, after releasing the 8 heavenly moon styles once, "Release the dark moon slash and shadow step." "Woof." The sword dog nodded vigorously, looked at Zhuge and said, "Woof woof, I'm coming." Zhuge silently released the superb earth shield and rock armor for himself. Seeing this, the sword dog no longer hesitated and decisively released his newly understood talent, 8 heavenly moon styles. The next moment, energy surged around, and huge energy gathered behind the sword dog, forming a waning moon. The sword dog swung out its sword, and the sword light, which was as bright as the waning moon, carried powerful power, and struck Zhuge's earth shield with lightning speed. Before Qin Yi could recover from the innate special effects released by the sword dog, he heard a roar. He suddenly looked at Zhuge Yifang. Looking at Zhuge's intact earth shield, he couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. It seems that this power is far less shocking than its effect. That's not right. Qin Yi opened his eyes slightly, and saw that the brightness of the earth shield was obviously reduced, and he couldn't help but take a breath. This is quite powerful. Qin Yi came back to his senses, looked at Zhuge and sword dog who were also stunned by their power, and shouted, "Continue. Release the second move." "Woof," the sword dog shouted at Zhuge. At the beginning, he did not expect that his move would be so powerful. After all, he had never touched Zhuge's shield since he and Qin Yi. But after he saw something was wrong with Zhuge's shield, he was confused. Zhuge listened to the sword dog's voice and quickly transported some energy to the earth shield to let it reach its optimal state. As the sword dog released its second move, Qin Yi, who was standing there staring at the waning moon in the sky, saw a shocking scene. The waning moon, which was originally only a quarter of the moon's size, quickly turned into a half moon under the energy of the sword dog. The sword dog's sword light also changed from the brightness of the waning moon to the brightness of the half moon, and the speed also became a little faster. Then, a roar sounded, and Zhuge's earth shield made a shattering sound under this move. Its earth shield is already in pieces. This is powerful. Qin Yi was pleasantly surprised. Zhuge is currently level 25. Even though he is 5 levels lower than Zhuge, he almost broke through Zhuge's earth shield with one move. This power is already quite terrifying. You must know that Zhuge's earth shield is at a superb level, and not all spiritual beasts can achieve it at this stage. Qin Yi can even say that among the freshmen in the same class as him, there are no more than 50 who can reach the level of proficiency in spirit beast skills at this stage. Of course, the total number of superb skills of all their spirit beasts may only be 1 or 2, but he has 3 or 4 of them. This conclusion was drawn by him based on news from previous years. It can only be said that there are spiritual beasts among the freshmen with superb skills, but there are very few, and he has never seen anything like him in the news. Qin Yi looked at Zhuge and sword dog who were motionless and shouted, "Keep going." "Wow." The sword dog watched Zhuge finish replenishing the energy of the earth shield and couldn't wait to release the third move. The next moment, under the energy of the sword dog, the half moon in the sky quickly condensed into a full moon, a complete moon. The sword dog swung out its sword, and as expected, the brightness of the sword's light changed to that of the full moon, and its speed was, as expected, a little faster than before. As the roar sounded, collisions also followed one after another the next second. The earth shield only held up for a second before being broken by this sword. Qin Yi looked at the knife marks on Zhuge Yanjia and subconsciously took a breath. This third form is probably twice as powerful as the second form. Strong. Qin Yi raised the corners of his mouth slightly, then looked at Zhuge and asked, "Are you okay?" Zhuge shook his head, with a hint of surprise on his face. He could still withstand this power, but he couldn't believe that this was the power that a sword dog could unleash. "As long as it's okay." Qin Yi turned to look at the sword dog and asked, "How much energy did these 3 moves cost?" "The power is seen, now it's a matter of energy." The sword dog felt its remaining energy and shouted to Qin Yi, "Woof woof, 28%. 28%? That's not bad." Qin Yi muttered and continued to ask, how much did the third formula cost? The sword dog frowned slightly, then shook his head, woof, don't know. Qin Yi was silent for a moment and said with a smile, then try again later. You try the other two skills first. Woof, the sword dog responded. Chapter 54 Opening Ceremony. July 1st. 9 a.m. Sky Stadium. Did you all come so early? Qin Yi walked into the Sky Stadium with his identity information, looked at the crowded scene, and silently found an empty seat at the back and sat down. The opening ceremony started at 9:30 a.m., and he arrived 30 minutes early. He originally thought that 30 minutes in advance was early enough, but after seeing the scene in front of him, he instantly felt as if he was just a little bit late. Of course, this is not important. What is important is that as long as you are not late. Not long after Qin Yi sat down, a familiar figure walked towards him. It's really you. Lu Junyan sat down next to Qin Yi and continued, they came so early. I almost thought I was late. Same. Qin Yi felt the same way. As they chatted, time passed slowly. Not long after, a middle-aged man walked to the podium not far away under their gaze. The noise in the Sky Stadium also fell completely silent at this moment. A middle-aged man named He Wu is the vice president of Seoul Calling University and the top talker at the opening ceremony. Qin Yi listened to Principal He's skillful speech and learned that Hongling University had recruited 820 people this year, not even 1,000. Then there was nothing more. Among Principal He's words, he felt that this was somewhat useful. The rest were about the history of the school and some inspiring words. These words are quite exciting to hear, but in fact they are indeed inspiring, which can be clearly seen from the deafening applause and the many red faces. After Principal He finished his speech, several more people came up to say something. Among these people, the last person to speak on stage was the junior student representative Zhou Zhe, a powerful figure who was only a little weaker than the strongest in the junior year. His strength was that of a super spiritual summoner. It was said that he was just a short distance away from becoming a master spiritual summoner. A last-minute thing. Just when Qin Yi was about to fall asleep while listening, the most important person to them finally appeared on the stage. After Zhou Zhe stepped down, a lazy young man appeared on the podium. The lazy young man slowly took out the paper he had prepared from the spirit summoning space and placed it on the podium in front of him. Then, he looked at the 820 freshmen from all over the world sitting in the audience, and the corners of his mouth slightly raised, "Good morning, everyone." Hearing the sudden change in tone, Qin Yi instantly raised his head and looked at the young man standing over there. His sleepiness also dissipated a little at this moment. The young man continued, "My surname is Zhao, my given name is Xian, my name is Xian, and my name is Zhao Xian. Your class teacher." When he heard the words, head teacher, Qin Yi's sleepiness completely dissipated, and he looked at Zhao Xian curiously. This person seems a little unusual. You are the first class I led, the real first class, not the fake first class. Zhao Xian said with a smile, so if you do anything wrong, please forgive me. Well, it is indeed unusual. Qin Yi looked at the smiling Zhao Xian and couldn't help but reveal a smile. After Zhao Xian said some unimportant content, he continued, the training mechanism of our summoning university is different from that of other universities. Other universities have a class system, while our summoning university has a sect system. The general meaning is that there are 820 of you in one class, there is no second class. As for how you study. Zhao Xian pointed at the group of people standing not far away and said with a smile, have you seen the people over there? They are your teachers and your followers. What classes you want to take, you can choose them on the official software of Summoning University. There is detailed course information on it. If you have something to do one day and don't go to class, that's okay. The official software has the video recording of the day, and you can watch it anytime and anywhere. Also, because we are a sect, you can be apprentices to them, and the teachers you apprentice to are also them. Zhao Xian pointed over there again. Of course, there are also some big names who didn't come, such as the greatest principal of our Spirit Summoning University, the legendary Spirit Summoner, Principal Zhao. Principal Zhao himself is also good at accepting disciples. Of course, the premise is that you have the ability. When Qin Yi heard the words, Principal Zhao, he suddenly thought of something. He looked at Zhao Xian carefully and then at the other teachers around him. He seemed to know something incredible. I hope I was wrong. Qin Yi shook his head and continued listening. After Zhao Xian finished talking about studying, he finally talked about the freshman qualifying competition. The freshman qualifying competition will officially start tomorrow and will last for 3 days. Zhao Xian put down the 3 raised fingers and continued, the specific rules of the freshman qualifying competition. On the first day, bravely enter the Gods and Demons Tower. The Gods and Demons Tower is the main tower of our school and contains many treasures. Every time you pass a level, you can get a treasure. As for how many floors the God and Demon Tower has, it is still unknown. On the second day, we will divide into several groups to compete against each other based on the number of levels you have passed. The duel takes place in the Sky Gym next door. Zhao Xian pointed to the gym not far away and said, "That's the one." Qin Yi looked around and remembered the location of the Sky Stadium in his mind. The third day is the same as the second. The duels for these 2 days will start at 9 o'clock in the morning and end at 9 o'clock in the evening. During the qualifying competition for freshmen, please treat it well. After all, this is related to your future. Zhao Xian said, pointing to the position of the teachers again, "Have you seen the big guys over there? They will always pay attention to the freshman qualifying competition. So those of you who want to become apprentices must perform well in the freshman qualifying competition. Okay, without further ado, let's meet at the gate of the Gods and Demons Tower tomorrow." After Zhao Xian finished speaking, he said again, "I almost forgot to mention that the opening time of the Gods and Demons Tower is 8 a.m. and the closing time is 11 p.m. Up to 100 people can challenge at the same time. So don't rush, there is still plenty of time." Zhao Xian thought for a while and felt that it was not good to leave now, so he asked again, "Do you have any questions to ask?" "Teacher, do we need to spend points to challenge the God and Demon Tower this time?" "Teacher Zhao, how do I usually contact you?" "Teacher Zhao, where should the spirit beast be treated if it is injured?" Zhao Xian listened to dozens of questions coming from all directions and shouted quickly, "Stop, stop, stop. Raise your hands. Come one by one." After Zhao Xian saw that the scene had calmed down, he pointed to a young man in red with his hand raised on the left and said, "Say." "Teacher Zhao, as far as I know, challenging the God and Demon Tower requires 100 points. Do we need to spend points to challenge the God and Demon Tower this time?" "No, it's free this time." "Thank you, Teacher Zhao." Next. Chapter 55 Tower of Gods and Demons. After Zhao Xian answered various questions for nearly half an hour, the opening ceremony officially ended with Zhao Xian's words. Qin Yi also left the Sky Stadium silently along with the flow of people. Lu Junyan followed Qin Yi and asked, "What are you going to do today?" Qin Yi checked the time on his phone and said, "Eat. Together?" "Okay." July 2nd. 1 p.m. Tower of Gods and Demons. Qin Yi looked at the majestic building dozens of stories high not far away, and couldn't help but sigh in his heart, "It would be great if this was mine." After Qin Yi looked at it again and again, he continued to walk forward. It's better to think less about unrealistic things. Entering the God and Demon Tower area, Qin Yi heard discussions coming from around him. "Has anyone passed the 30th floor?" Some people passed by in the morning, but unfortunately those few people didn't get to the 31st floor. Who? Who else could it be? Of course it would be those guys with 8,000 points. Are they all on board? That's not true. Is the 31st floor so difficult? The 31st floor is not difficult. The main reason is that after they finish the 30th floor, they have no energy left. Qin Yi listened to the discussions around him and came to the entrance of the God and Demon Tower. He looked up at the tower and looked at the display screen above, and he couldn't help but be startled. The 45th God and Demon Tower ranking of Summoning University. First place, Fei Hong, 30th floor, 1 hour, 45 minutes and 39 seconds. Second place, Yi Cixi, 30th floor, 1 hour, 57 minutes and 42 seconds. Third place, Lu Junyan, 30th floor, 2 hours, 01 minutes and 33 seconds. Fourth place, Xue Qingyue, 30th floor, 2 hours, 11 minutes and 12 seconds. Fifth place, Wu Jun, 29th floor, 1 hour, 51 minutes and 10 seconds. Isn't there a ranking here? Qin Yi turned his head to look at the source of the sound in confusion. He looked at the man and woman standing over there who were still chatting. He seemed to understand. Qin Yi, who was shown off by Xiao, walked silently towards Zhao Xian who was sitting beside him. When did you come? Zhao Xian looked at Qin Yi who appeared in front of him and was slightly startled. Just arrived. Qin Yi responded. Damn it! You have some talent. Zhao Xian came to his senses and immediately thought of the reason. Of course, this was also the reason why he was playing games. If he wasn't playing games, he would still be able to detect Qin Yi based on his strength. Are you ready to go in? Zhao Xian asked. For the first class of students he brought, he naturally knew who the young man in front of him was. Can I still come in now? Can. Is it okay to just walk in? Put this on your body and you can go in. Zhao Xian picked up the wooden token on the side and handed it to Qin Yi. Thank you. Qin Yi took the token and walked towards the entrance of the God and Demon Tower. Zhao Xian looked at Qin Yi's leaving figure, turned off his phone decisively, and began to watch the progress of the God and Demon Tower. At the same time, the noise around them also stopped at this moment, and they all looked towards Qin Yi. After seeing Qin Yi enter the Tower of Gods and Demons, they made a sound. That one seems to be Qin Yi. It doesn't seem like it, then it's Qin Yi. Is there another 8,000-point boss? I just don't know if he can get past the 31st floor. Not very likely. Why? He's not even as good as Yi Cixi. Do you think he can pass the 31st floor? Isn't he number 1 in Yehai City? His number 1 position was allegedly given by Yi Cixi. Is there such a thing? Sure. I just heard about it. No matter what, he is still an 8,000-point boss. This is an indelible fact. That's quite true. While they were discussing, Qin Yi, who entered the God and Demon Tower, came to a battlefield filled with a strange atmosphere. He looked at the gray sky, the broken buildings isolated outside, and the corpses scattered everywhere, and he was stunned. An indescribable feeling of suffocation surged into my heart at this moment. What the hell is this place? After waiting for a while, Qin Yi looked around again. Looking at the scene that had not disappeared, he finally realized that this was not fake, it was real. However, this scene is isolated by this venue. Qin Yi took a deep breath, and just when he was about to ask, a voice sounded in the sky. Welcome to the God and Demon Tower. I am the God and Demon Tower, the Tower Spirit. Since this is your first time entering the Gods and Demons Tower, I will spend some time telling you about the rules of the Gods and Demons Tower. Please listen. Immediately afterwards, the God and Demon Tata Ling began to tell one by one. After Qin Yi listened, he summarized it into 3 points. The first point is that the spirit beasts that appear on each floor of the God and Demon Tower are created with energy. After killing the spirit beast will turn into energy and give it to the person who kills it. The second point is that you will have a 1-minute rest time every time you clear a level, and you can get a reward. You can get a 3-minute rest time every time you clear 5 levels, and you can get a big reward. The third point is that entering the Tower of Gods and Demons for the second time will not start the challenge from the first level, but from the level where you failed before. Qin Yi thought together, and 3 summoning rays of light appeared around him. After Zhuge and the others were summoned by him, he said, "Let's begin. The first level will start in 10 seconds. As Ta Ling finished speaking, the space between gods and demons began to tremble slightly. Not far from Qin Yi, he saw a burst of energy pouring out from the ground and converging into a blue slime. Qin Yi fell silent as he looked at the blue slime that appeared not far away. The spiritual beasts on this first level are too weak. Qin Yi turned to look at the sword dog and said, "Quick fight." The sword dog looked at the blue slime in silence for 2 seconds, then swung his knife. With a bang, the blue slime was cut into pieces by the incoming sword light, and turned into a stream of energy flying towards the sword dog. Qin Yi watched the energy enter the sword dog's body and curiously threw a soul-calling pupil at the sword dog. Level 21, 15 out of 100. After silently writing down the data in the brackets of the sword dog's level, Qin Yi said, "Continue." Although there was a 1-minute break, he was not willing to wait for this minute. He still doesn't know if he can pass the 31st floor. If you can pass it, it doesn't matter. If you can't pass it, this 1 minute is very crucial. As Qin Yi finished speaking, spiritual beasts began to gather again not far away. Only this time it wasn't slimes that appeared, but 3 gray wolves. This is right. Although these 3 gray wolves are all level 2 spiritual beasts, the number seems much more comfortable than before. As the 3 gray wolves were killed by the sword dog, Qin Yi quickly looked at the panel hanging in front of him. Level 21, 17 out of 100. Qin Yi rubbed his eyes, and after realizing that he had read it correctly, he said in surprise, "There is something about this energy." The 3 gray wolves gave the sword dog 2 experience points, which really shocked him. You know, this gray wolf is a level 2 spirit beast, not a level 20 spirit beast. With the sword dog's current level, you can no longer gain experience by killing level 2 spirit beasts outside. But here, he can. No wonder there is a fee here. With the ability to gain experience by killing level 2 spiritual beasts, charging 100 points is cheap. Chapter 56 Zioyeguo, Yuyukao. When the 5 level 5 spirit beasts on the 5th floor were easily killed by the sword dog, the tower spirit's voice sounded again. Congratulations on successfully passing level 5. Please choose one of the 3 rewards in front of you. Qin Yi looked at the rewards that appeared in front of him and clicked on them one by one. Spin fruit, after eating it, you can have the skill of spinning. Small night fruit, green increases own energy, dark attribute is best. Exquisite long knife, green a brand new long knife with dark attributes. Skills, attributes, weapons. Qin Yi didn't even think twice and decisively chose Xiaoyegua. The spin fruit can give the sword dog an additional attack skill, but the current attack skills of the sword dog are completely sufficient, so he does not lack this attack skill. But the little night fruit is different. Although the little night fruit is only green quality, it is effective for sword dogs. After eating it, the experience value will definitely increase. In addition to experience points, Xiaoyegua can also increase the sword dog's dark attribute proportion. Qin Yi feels that an increase of 2% or 3% should be no problem. 2% and 3% are small, but they add up to a lot. With a few more, wouldn't the sword dog become an authentic dark attribute spiritual beast? As for the knife, Qin Yi ignored it after seeing the effect. In addition to the rewards on the 5th floor, there are also rewards on the first 4 floors, but those rewards are all of white quality. Qin Yi plans to finish beating the gods and demons tower and watch them together. A minute later, the 6th floor opened. Qin Yi looked at the 6 spirit beasts not far away whose auras were obviously wrong. He frowned and threw a soul-summoning pupil up. Race, leapfrog, fake. Level 8. Attribute, general. The soul-summoning pupil can also show authenticity. Qin Yi was surprised. If he hadn't released the soul-calling pupil on this frog, he really wouldn't have known it had this function. Hiss, it's so scary. Qin Yi came back to his senses and showed a bright smile in an instant. If you can see the true and false, then this skill will be even more useful. Qin Yi licked his lips and said to the sword dogs that had been prepared, "They are only level 8, so fight quickly." Although the spirit beasts on this level are 3 levels higher than the spirit beasts on the previous level, for a level 21 sword dog, it is just like that. After the sword dog easily defeated 6 jumping frogs, Qin Yi called out his backpack and took a look. He looked at the newly appeared white-framed items and shook his head. The backpack is a function of the Gods and Demons Tower, and the rewards obtained in the Gods and Demons Tower will appear in the backpack. Level 7, 7 level 9 spiritual beasts. Level 8, 10 level 9 spiritual beasts. Level 9, 5 level 10 spiritual beasts. Level 10, 10 level 10 spiritual beasts. Level 11, 3 level 12 spiritual beasts. Level 19, 10 level 19 spiritual beasts. Level 20, 10 level 20 spiritual beasts. Isn't this a bit too difficult? Qin Yi looked at the 10 level 20 spirit beasts that appeared not far away and was slightly startled. He thought 5 heads would appear, but it seemed that he was still young. But this is all experience. Qin Yi raised the corners of his mouth slightly. Come on, fight quickly. When Zhuge and the other 3 heard this, they went to kill him again. On the 15th floor, Qin Yi had already asked Zhuge and Luoya to join the battle. Before the 15th floor, I killed the sword dogs on the 1st to 14th floors alone. After killing the spiritual beasts on the 14th floor, my level was successfully raised to level 22. At first, Qin Yi thought that he would gain 1 experience point by killing level 1, and gain 2 experience points by killing level 2. However, after many battles, Qin Yi found that he was thinking too much. The experience they get is not how much experience they get based on how many levels they kill, but how much the God and Demon Tower gives you. If the God and Demon Tower gives you 1, then it's 1, if it gives you 2, it's 2. If the God and Demon Tower doesn't want to give you, you kill 10. The energy gained from a level 1 spirit beast is not much different from killing a level 1 spirit beast. Therefore, this is also the reason why the sword dog who penetrated the 1st to 14th floors alone only rose to 1 level. Of course, the God and Demon Tower is not that stingy yet, but the energy it gives is not as incredible as he imagined. As for why the sword dogs were not allowed to continue killing on the 15th floor, it was because 10 level 15 spiritual beasts appeared on the 15th floor. As the number and level of spiritual beasts increased, the sword dog's killing speed also gradually slowed down. Qin Yi, who was racing against time, could not let the sword dogs kill him slowly, so he decisively asked Zhuge and Luoya to join him. Of course, the most important thing is that as the level of the spirit beast increases, Zhuge and Luoya also gain visible experience after killing the spirit beast. Even Luoya's level was raised to level 30 when he attacked the 17th floor. Zhuge's level also increased to level 27 when he attacked the 19th floor. At this time, Zhuge is at level 27, Luoya is at level 30, and Sword Dog is at level 22. Congratulations on successfully passing the 20th level. Please choose one of the 3 rewards in front of you. Fireball fruit, after eating it, you can have the skill of Fireball. Gloomy grass, blue increases own energy, best ghost attribute. Soul cutting sword, blue a long sword with ghost attributes. Is this blue? Qin Yi muttered in his mouth, while his hand chose the Yu grass without hesitation. In front of the heavenly materials and earthly treasures that increase the ghost attribute, everything else is just a cloud. What's more, what the hell is a fireball fruit? How could such a rubbish skill fruit appear here? Qin Yi looked at the fort above Zhuge's head and understood. Zhuge, just give them a shield. Yeah, Zhuge nodded slightly. After he perfected his earth shield, he could now unleash it on others. After resting for 3 minutes, the 21st floor opened. Qin Yi looked at the spiritual beast that appeared not far away and frowned slightly. Changed. Before, every floor had the same spirit beast, but now it has changed. Qin Yi looked at the 3 spirit beasts of different shapes and counted them, 6 in total. The quantity is less. Immediately afterwards, he released the soul-calling pupils towards the 3 spiritual beasts in turn. As a result, he discovered that the only spiritual beast actually had level 22. The combination of 1 head with level 22 and 5 heads with level 21 immediately let him know that the following levels might not be as simple as before. Of course, no matter how simple the next step is, Qin Yi feels that as long as there are not many level 28 spirit beasts, it will be easy. Level 22, 1 is level 23, 4 are level 22, and 5 are level 21. The total number of spirit beasts has reached 10 again. Level 23, 2 heads are level 24, 4 heads are level 23, and 4 heads are level 22. Level 24, 2 heads are at level 25, 5 heads are at level 24, and 5 heads are at level 23. The number of spiritual beasts comes to 12. At the same time, the sword dog's level has also been raised to level 23. The more spiritual beasts there are, the more energy they obtain. Level 25, level 27 for 2 heads and level 26 for 3 heads. The number of spiritual beasts is reduced, but their level is high. Qin Yi looked at the 2 different spirit beasts not far away and said calmly, "Come on." Although the level of this level is high, for Qin Yi, it is just like that. Chapter 57 Level 30, Elemental Spirits. Congratulations on successfully passing level 25. Please choose one of the 3 rewards in front of you. Dark Guard Fruit, after eating it, you can have the Dark Shield skill. Water Heart Flower, blue increases own energy, water attribute is the best. Shadow Knife, blue a long knife with dark and ghost attributes. Damn! Qin Yi chose the first one in confusion. The first one was actually quite good, but he wanted more heavenly materials and earthly treasures related to ghost attributes, but unfortunately they were not given to him this time. Level 26, 1 head is level 28, 3 heads are level 27, and 2 heads are level 26. 6 heads? That's okay. Qin Yi looked at it and breathed a sigh of relief. In the past, there were 10 heads and 10 heads on each floor, so it didn't feel like anything. If now every floor was full of 10 heads and 10 heads, they could win, but they couldn't hold the energy. Just talking about this level, the highest level spiritual beast on this level has surpassed Zhuge, which means Luoya is 2 levels higher than it. Without releasing the 8 heavenly moon styles, a level 23 sword dog can no longer deal with level 26 spirit beasts as easily as it did before dealing with spirit beasts below level 25. The situation of 1 knife in a second no longer exists. But fortunately, he has Luduk, and the level 30 Luduk is not something they can deal with. Level 27, level 28 for 2 heads and level 27 for 5 heads. Qin Yi looked at the panting sword dog and immediately asked him to stand aside and watch the show, allowing Zhuge and Luoya to quickly resolve the battle. Level 28, 1 head is level 29, 3 heads are level 28, and 2 heads are level 27. The sword dog who had rested 1 level wanted to go forward, but this time Qin Yi did not stop him and let him use the 8 heavenly moon styles as he pleased. After the last test of Tianyue 8 styles, they have figured out its energy consumption. From the first to the third form, if released in sequence, 28% of the energy is needed. To release from the first to the second form, 14% of the energy is required. In other words, it takes 14% to release the subsequent third form. Energy. If you think that the energy consumed by directly releasing the third form is also 14%, you are totally wrong. Without releasing the first and second formulas, the energy consumed by directly releasing the third formula is 20%. Not 14%. Qin Yi didn't feel much surprised when he discovered this situation. Because the teacher had mentioned this type of skill, he just sighed a little, wondering why his sword dog didn't escape this rule. Of course, sword dog no longer needs to consume so much energy to release the 8 heavenly moon styles, because he is already level 22 and is already stronger than before. When you are stronger, you will naturally have more energy. As for how much energy is needed now, Qin Yi hasn't had time to calculate yet. Qin Yi watched the sword dog's third move of the 8 heavenly moon moves outward as if it had no energy left, and couldn't help but feel a slight toothache. He doesn't want to participate in the subsequent battle. As the sword dog released the full moon crazily, the 6 spiritual beasts on the 28th floor were quickly overwhelmed by the sword light and turned into energy and flew into the sword dog's body. On this floor, Luoya and Zhuge took a good rest. Level 29, 2 heads are at level 29, 5 heads are at level 28, and 3 heads are at level 27. After the battle on the previous level, the sword dog had very little energy left, so this time the main attack still fell on Luoya. Luoya held a long knife and moved out. Zhuge set up a fort on the spot and began to assist Luoya in killing the incoming spiritual beasts. With the perfect cooperation of 1 turtle and 1 duck, 10 spiritual beasts were quickly defeated. Qin Yi looked at this pleasing picture and couldn't help but sigh. Skills at the superb level are really strong. They were able to end the battle so easily, and their superb skills still accounted for a large part of the credit. 150% skill power and 120% skill power are two different concepts. The 30% skill power between the two is not so easy to make up for. To be honest, 30% may be a bit exaggerated. After all, with the improvement of proficiency, even if it does not reach the superb level, the power of the skills will not increase at all. But if it is 20%, it is not an exaggeration at all. A minute later, 10 mist-like spiritual beasts appeared not far from Qin Yi and the others. At the same time, outside the God and Demon Tower, Qin Yi's name appeared in 5th place. 5th place, Qin Yi, 29th floor, 1 hour, 35 minutes and 15 seconds. F***K. What's wrong? Everyone, look at the rankings. Holy crap. Why is his time so short? 95 minutes. Let him fly. It shouldn't take that long to fly. Zhao Xian, who was always staring at the rankings, could not help but reveal a hint of curiosity on his calm face. Reaching the 30th floor in 100 minutes, this achievement has naturally been achieved by someone, not just far, but close. Fei Hong, who is currently ranked first, reached the 30th floor in 99 minutes. So to reach the 30th floor in 100 minutes, I can't say that it's incredible, but if I say that my strength is very good, then that's absolutely no problem. As expected of the boy I have taken a liking to. Zhao Xian raised the corner of his mouth and continued to mutter in his heart, I just don't know if I can rush to the 31st floor. The space of gods and demons. Race, Thundercloud Elf, Fake. Level 30. Attribute, Thunder. Race, Electric Cloud Elf, Fake. Level 29. Attribute, Thunder. Elemental Race. Qin Yi exclaimed. At this moment, he finally understood why Yi Cixi and the others had no energy to fight on the 31st floor after finishing the 30th floor. This elemental race is not a normal racial beast. Each elemental race has its own talent, which is elementalization. The effect of elementalization is similar to Luo Ya's new talent, Ghost Form. Both physical damage received are reduced and the form can be changed at will, making it more difficult for enemies to attack you. Of course, the effect of elementalization is not as outrageous as Luo Ya's Ghost Form, but it is still quite annoying. Especially the 10-headed elemental spirit beasts with thunder attribute in front of me. I don't have any energy left. Let's fight quickly and wait until the fight is over. Qin Yi sighed. He originally planned to stay for a while, but after seeing these 10 thunder elemental beasts, he decided not to stay. He was afraid that if he stayed for a while, Luo Ya would be intimidated. The result of Luo Ya being timid is probably that he will be struck by lightning from these thunder elemental beasts. Gah! Woof! A turtle, a duck and a dog heard this and shouted in unison. Qin Yi continued, One Piece, do whatever makes you feel comfortable, Zhuge, after you release the Earth Shield, directly release Li Gua and blast them for me. Sword Dog, don't rush so far, you can directly release Tian Yuba remotely. Just follow the posture, release it carefully, don't release it randomly. Gah! Woof! A turtle, a duck and a dog heard this and shouted again in unison. Chapter 58 Roaring Fruit. Shadow Slash. Luo Ya swung his sword out, the sword glowing like a shadow, and rushed towards an electric cloud elf not far away at an extremely fast speed. The next moment, a roar sounded, and the electric cloud spirit before it had time to dodge turned into a beam of energy and flew towards Luo Ya. Within seconds, Luo Ya killed an electric cloud elf with one blow. Qin Yi looked at this scene and was slightly stunned. Then he smiled and shook his head, it seems that I am worrying too much. The reason why the lightning cloud elf was defeated in seconds was that, in addition to Luo Ya's Shadow Slash being too fast, the most important reason was that Shadow Slash was an energy attack, not a physical attack. The electric cloud elf can change its own form to avoid Shadow Slash's attack, but the problem is that change takes time. So as long as the incoming attack is faster than its changing speed, then the electric cloud elf will be the same. As Luoya took action, Zhuge also quickly released Li Gua and began to fire various small fireballs at the targets rushing around and attacking Luoya. The sword dog standing next to Qingyi was also using his remaining energy to unleash the 8 heavenly moon styles on an electric cloud elf. He doesn't have much energy left, but it's still no problem to release another round of 8 heavenly moon styles. The thunder cloud elves and electric cloud elves on the opposite side looked at the incoming attacks from Luoya and they, not to be outdone, began to release various thunder attribute skills to block and attack. In an instant, bursts of roaring sounds were heard, and Qingyi was dazzled by the screams, and his vision was blurred. The battle started quickly and ended quickly. It didn't take long for these elemental beasts to be killed one by Luoya's shadow slash under the interference of Zhuge and Sword Dog. At the same time, Luoya also successfully reached level 31 in this battle. The little energy that was originally due to the release of Shadow Slash was partially restored in this upgrade. Congratulations on successfully passing level 30. Please choose one of the 3 rewards in front of you. Roaring Fruit, after eating it, you can have roaring skills. Yayo Grass, yellow, a kind of grass that grows in the dark night. The flowers are dark purple. It has the effect of dispelling cold and fear, and has the best ghost properties. Yu Shui, yellow, a long knife with dual attributes of ghost and water. Is it finally yellow? Qingyi looked at the first option again after reading the 3 rewards in front of him. As the name of the roaring fruit suggests, you can gain roaring skills after eating it, and the word like here means you have a chance to learn more advanced roaring skills, such as Ghost Roar and Dark Roar. This fruit is not comparable to a junk skill fruit like the Fireball fruit. Qingyi really wanted to choose this option, but after seeing the second option, he hesitated. Although the ghost grass in the second option is not written to increase energy, it can still increase the ghost attribute after eating it. Because any fruit can improve the strength of a spiritual beast, and the skill fruit is no exception, it's just a matter of improving less than more, so even if the effect is not written, it still has its effect. The long knife of the third option is actually good, but unfortunately the first 2 are too effective. Qingyi thought carefully and finally chose the first one, Roaring Fruit. Even if he missed this one natural treasure with ghost attributes, he could still find other ones. But if he missed the Roaring Fruit, he didn't know that it would take years and months to find the second one. After choosing the Roaring Fruit, he decisively took out the Roaring Fruit and threw it to Luoya. Eat it quickly, 5 minutes is enough. Gah! Luoya took the fruit and took a bite without hesitation. 1 mouthful, 2 mouthfuls, 3 mouthfuls, 3 mouthfuls later, the roaring fruit entered his stomach. 3 minutes later, Luoya opened his eyes and roared excitedly. The sound was deafening, and the sound waves revealed waves of faint blue light. One Piece, well done! Qingyi shouted excitedly. The Roe Duck held his head high. As the future Pirate King, if you can't learn the special roaring skills by eating a roaring fruit, then how can you become the Pirate King? Qingyi looked at Luoya's slightly proud expression and directly threw the soul summoning eye towards him. Race, Pirate Duck. Level 31, 21 out of 100. Attribute, Water. Potential, High Commander, 67/100. Talent, Plunder, Desperate Situation, Ghost Form. Skills, Water Wave Slash, Superb, Fighting Spirit, Superb. Netherworld Roar, Entry. The roar of the Netherworld. Qingyi looked at Luoya's last skill, muttered, and suddenly opened his eyes wide. The roar of the Netherworld. Netherworld and ghost are the same word, but the concepts are completely different. As for what the difference is, Qingyi doesn't know, but in his feeling, Netherworld is more powerful than ghost. Of course, Netherworld may also be a combination of ghost attributes and water attributes. After all, the river Styx and the river Styx are both called Styx, so it is normal to have some watery meaning. Netherworld Roar gathers endless netherworld energy to form a shocking roar, which has a chance to put the target into a state of fear with biting wind. Why does it feel like the effect of the normal roar skill is similar? Qingyi couldn't help complaining. Although they are almost the same, the difference is actually quite big. Just like two different knives, their introduction is the same, but their quality is different. One is yellow and the other is green. Can you say that their power is the same? Obviously, it can't. So despite the fact that the effects are similar on the introduction, in actuality, the difference is still very big. While Qin Yi was watching the effect, there was already an uproar outside the God and Demon Tower. Qin Yi reached the top. First place, Qin Yi, 30th floor, 1 hour, 42 minutes and 2 seconds. It takes a little slower than Fei Hong. Zhao Xian muttered, it should be because of the level. Qin Yi was promoted to the intermediate level during the college entrance examination, so it can be seen that the level of Qin Ye's contract beast must be lower than Fei Hong's contract beast. How much lower, Zhao Xian doesn't know, but when dealing with 5 level 30 Thunder Cloud Elves and 5 level 29 Electric Cloud Elves, if the level is lower, the damage will naturally be lower. It's okay, but I don't know if he can pass the 31st floor. The 31st floor is not difficult, but the difficulty is that they all fight from the 1st to the 30th floor. Although there is rest time in between, this rest time is not enough to restore the energy of their contracted beasts. So after they finished the 30th floor, their energy was almost at its limit. When Zhao Xian felt that the 31st floor was not difficult, Qin Yi in the gods and demons space was already silent. Race, Mechanical Giant Ape, Fake. Level 33. Attribute, Mechanical. Race, Mechanical Ape, Fake. Level 32. Attribute, Mechanical. Race, Mechanical Monkey, Fake. Level 31. Attribute, Mechanical. 1 level 33 Mechanical Giant Ape, 2 level 32 Mechanical Apes, and 4 level 31 Mechanical Monkeys. The imposing manner of the 7 members of the mechanical monkey family standing over there had already stunned Qin Yi. Chapter 59 Level 31, Group of Mechanical Monkeys. What are these monkeys? Qin Yi frowned. Forget about mechanical attributes, the question is why there are violent mechanical monkeys with mechanical attributes. Mechanical monkey, the initial form of the mechanical giant ape, has the lowest potential as a low-level elite. As for the mechanical ape and the mechanical giant ape, they are the first and second evolutionary types of the mechanical monkey. That is, after the mechanical monkey evolves into the mechanical ape evolves into the mechanical giant ape. No wonder they can't defeat them. They just defeated a wave of disgusting thunder elemental beasts, and here comes another wave of even more disgusting mechanical monkeys. How can they have the energy to continue fighting? Qin Yi shook his head. He felt I can't stand this combination myself. If his spirit beasts are all in complete condition, then there will definitely be no problem. If there is no mechanical giant ape on the opposite side, then the problem will not be too big. Unfortunately, there is no if. Qin Yi looked at the 7 mechanical monkeys on the opposite side that were getting ready to attack, and said to Zhuge and the others beside him, "It is difficult for us to win this battle, but no matter how difficult it is to win, we will fight to the end. They can't kill us in the God and Demon Tower, so you don't have to be afraid of death, just kill us and that's it." One of the rules of the Gods and Demons Tower is that the challenger's spirit beast will not be killed by the spirit beasts in the Gods and Demons Tower. When the challenger's spirit beast is about to be killed by the spirit beast in the God and Demon Tower, the spirit beast in the God and Demon Tower will immediately stop its movements. At the same time, the challenger's spirit beast will also be sealed by the power of the God and Demon Tower, and will not be unsealed until the challenger leaves the God and Demon Tower. Gah! Woof! A turtle, a duck and a dog responded in unison. Sword Dog, your mission is to drag out the mechanical giant ape and by one piece some time. How many seconds can it delay? Qin Yi pointed to the 4-meter-high giant ape in the center. That's the giant ape. Wow! The Sword Dog nodded vigorously and looked in the direction of Qin Yi's finger. Then, he was stunned. There are 3 giant apes taller than him. Can he really hold them back? At this moment, the Sword Dog became a little unconfident. Don't panic, he can't kill you. Qin Yi also had a toothache, but there was nothing he could do. If the Sword Dog didn't delay for a while, they had no chance of winning. The reason why they can win without the mechanical giant ape is because the mechanical giant ape is too big. When the 4-meter-tall mechanical giant ape punches down, not everyone can stop it. You don't have to fight him head-on. You just need to walk him. If you walk him for a minute or two, the Pirate King and Zhuge will be able to open up the situation. Qin Yi continued, and Zhuge will also help you, so don't panic. Woof. The sword dog's self-confidence instantly recovered after listening to Qin Yi's words. At this moment, he was full of motivation. Qin Yi showed a satisfied smile. He liked the confident look of the sword dog. Zhuge, your mission is very simple. Rush directly into the monkey group, release the fort, and attract the group of monkeys to attack you. Attract as many as you can. Qin Yi looked at Zhuge. In the previous battles, Zhuge stood behind and fired cannons, so apart from not having much energy, he had no other problems. If you let him be beaten for a while, he can still survive for a while. Zhuge nodded slightly. He was so smart that he had already thought of this level. One piece, after Zhuge rushes up, follow closely behind him, and then go directly to the mechanical ape. Kill the mechanical ape first, and then the little mechanical monkey. Qin Yi finally looked at One Piece. Although there is only one level difference between the mechanical ape and the mechanical monkey, the mechanical ape is the evolved form of the mechanical monkey after all, and its strength and speed are not comparable to that of the mechanical monkey. Quack, watch me destroy them. Luoya was very excited. He liked this kind of hand-to-hand combat the best. After Qin Yi continued to tell them something about the battle on the 31st floor officially started with the roar of the 7-headed monkeys. Qin Yi frowned, rubbed his ears that were hurt by the sound waves, and said to Luoya and the others, "Come on." Ga! Luoya shouted, quickly selected the next target, and hurriedly chased Zhuge. Zhuge, who had released 3 earth shields before the battle even started, heard Qin Yi's voice and without hesitation released the thorns, whirling towards the group of monkeys not far away. However, just when everyone thought he was about to rush into the monkey group, he suddenly stopped halfway. Immediately afterwards, he decisively released Li Gua. Luoya, who ran to Zhuge's side, also stopped when he saw this. He was not in a hurry. The sword dog did not. He looked at the mechanical giant roaring towards them, tightened the long knife in his hand, and swung it out. Dark Moon Slash. The black sword light directly hit the mechanical giant ape that jumped up to a height. The roar sounded, and the mechanical giant roared angrily, rushing out of the black mist. The mechanical giant without any scars directly locked onto the sword dog. Upon seeing this, the sword dog turned around and left without hesitation, directly pulling the silly mechanical giant ape away from the monkey group. At the same time, Zhuge's fort also fired several small fireballs at the surrounding monkeys. Roaring sounds continued one after another. Luoya, who had left Zhuge's side a long time ago, released his fighting spirit and came to the mechanical ape who had just extinguished the small fireball with a punch and was still roaring. Luoya rose up with his sword, and the superb water blade instantly enveloped his long sword. He still has energy to kill the giant mechanical ape, so he can only release the water blade and use his own power to kill it. Roar! The mechanical ape screamed in pain, lowered its head and punched randomly. It was waving randomly, but it didn't know that Luoya had already arrived behind it. The roar sounded again. This sword was a water wave slash at a superb level. Although he needs to save energy to deal with the mechanical giant ape, he will still use his skills when it is time to use them. Luoya calmly swung 2 more swords, but without even looking at them, he walked away gracefully. A mechanical ape turned into a ray of light and flew into Luoya's body. Qin Yi looked at Luoya's delightful operation, and the corners of his mouth could not help but raise slightly. During this period, the sparring between Luoya and Sword Dog was very effective. Although Sword Dog is not as strong as Luoya, Luoya is far inferior to Sword Dog when it comes to using knives. Therefore, during this period, Qin Yi would let Luoya fight with Sword Dog every day to let Luoya learn some skills. Knife-wielding skills teach the Sword Dog some ability to withstand stress. Luoya learned the skills well, and the Sword Dog's ability to withstand pressure is naturally also very good. Qin Yi turned his head and looked in the direction of the sword dog. Looking at the mechanical giant ape being played around by the sword dog, he suddenly felt that this layer was there. The reason why the sword dog showed a trace of lack of confidence before was not because the mechanical giant ape was powerful, but because the mechanical giant ape was too tall. From birth to now, he has never really seen such a tall spiritual beast, so he showed a trace of unconfidence at that moment. Chapter 60 Finally past the 31st floor, everyone was confused. Be careful! Qin Yi shouted loudly as he watched the mechanical giant ape seize the opportunity and throw an angry punch at the sword dog. The confident sword dog walked the mechanical giant ape for nearly 3 minutes, but finally couldn't hold on any longer. But the sword dog didn't panic when he saw the incoming attack. Instead, he quickly put the knife in his waist without any expression and made a gesture to draw the knife. At the moment when the mechanical giant ape was about to attack, the sword dog swung the knife on his waist. Draw your sword and chop. There was a roar, and the soaring sword light hit the mechanical giant ape. The sword dog was also blasted away by the angry giant fist at the next moment. Poof! The sword dog spurted out a mouthful of old blood, and the blood covered the ground. The sword dog who was blown to the ground ignored his own pain and quickly stood up. Before the mechanical giant ape could react, he quickly ran in the direction of Luoya. At this time, Luoya, with the help of Sword Dog and Zhuge, had killed 1 mechanical ape and 2 mechanical monkeys. Ga, die. After Luoya saw the scene of the sword dog being blown away, he ignored the attack from the mechanical ape in front of him and directly waved the long knife in his hand. With a bang, the mechanical ape's attack hit Luoya's body, and Luoya's long knife also successfully passed through the mechanical ape's body. Ga! Luoya endured the pain and pulled out the long knife on the mechanical ape's body, opened his mouth and fired a water gun at a superb level. The ferocious water gun hit the mechanical ape's body, spraying the mechanical ape far away. Luoya put away his water gun and turned around to kill the mechanical giant ape that was chasing the sword dog. Quack, 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 they are left to you, this monkey belongs to me. Luoya passed by the sword dog and swung his knife at the giant ape. Water wave cuts. Impact punch. Not to be outdone, the mechanical giant ape punched hard, the wind of the fist shook the space, and it swung towards the water wave sword light. Ho! The roar carried the screams of the giant ape and echoed around. Gaga, silly monkey. He is not just a level 22 sword dog. He's not a sword dog who hasn't yet perfected his skills. Luoya looked at the mechanical giant ape with disdain and waved his long knife towards the giant ape's left foot. Because the mechanical giant ape is too tall, he can only hit his lower body unless he uses his skills. And his energy is no longer enough to support him to release his skills several times. So he could only rely on his own strength to grind slowly. Of course, relying on strength is not purely about strength. He can still release energy with a simple water blade. The water blade wrapped the long knife, and Luoya swung the knife away. With a bang, Luoya's long knife got stuck in the center of the mechanical giant ape's left foot and stopped abruptly. Ga! Luoya was startled, quickly drew out his long knife and stepped back. Roar! The mechanical giant ape stared at Luoya, opened its huge mouth angrily, and a beam of energy like a laser cannon came out of its mouth, blasting towards Luoya at lightning speed. Luoya, who had no time to dodge, quickly waved the long knife in his hand, and the water blade turned into a sword light and rushed out from the blade. Bang! The roar sounded again. Luoya looked at the mechanical giant ape and quickly waved his long sword. The sword was like a shadow slash. Shadow slash hit the mechanical giant ape's half-cut left foot at an extremely fast speed. The scream sounded again, and the mechanical giant ape also tilted to the left. Its legs were chopped off with a knife. Huh! Luoya's eyes were sharp and he rushed towards the mechanical giant ape quickly. He didn't release his skills on the spot, not because he didn't want to, but because he didn't have much energy. He was afraid that the skills he released would be wiped out by the mechanical giant ape with one punch, which would be a waste of energy. Although the mechanical giant ape is crying out in pain, this does not mean that the mechanical giant ape has no time to pay attention to him or fight back against him. So in order to be able to use his skills 100% on the mechanical giant ape, he chose the most stable way of playing. What he lacks now is not time, but energy. Hey, if it had energy, it would have died long ago. Qin Yi couldn't help but sigh as he watched the battle between Luoya and the mechanical giant ape. After seeing that Luoya's side was almost stable, he turned his head and looked at the other side. The battle on the other side is more stable. The mechanical monkey is not comparable to the mechanical giant ape. The mechanical monkey is one head shorter than the sword dog. Although it is much stronger than the sword dog can walk the mechanical monkey. It's much easier than walking a giant mechanical ape. As for the mechanical ape, as early as Luoya left, he was hit by Zhuge's several small fireballs. So the scene at this time is that the sword dog is walking a mechanical monkey, and Zhuge is walking another mechanical monkey. Both mechanical monkeys are being walked. As for why it was a walk instead of a kill, it was because Zhuge had very little energy left after successfully finishing the mechanical ape. So the current situation is that Zhuge and the sword dog cannot kill the mechanical monkey because they have no energy, and the mechanical monkey cannot kill Zhuge and the sword dog because of insufficient attack. They froze there. Qin Yi shook his head with a smile and continued to look towards Luoya. The mechanical giant ape with one leg missing finally failed to play with Luoya. It didn't take long for Luoya to rely on his flexible movement to kill the inconvenient mechanical giant ape. After the death of the mechanical giant ape, the two mechanical monkeys were quickly killed one by the rushing Luoya. At this time, the energy of one turtle, one duck, and one dog is running low. It is not impossible at all, but it can really be said to have bottomed out. At the same time, their own injuries were also bruised, and they were no longer as relaxed as they were before the war started. Although this battle was very tiring, the smiles on their faces became even brighter. They finally passed. Continue? Qin Yi asked with a smile. Ga, continue. Luoya shouted without hesitation. The sword dog wiped the blood from the long knife in his hand and looked at Qin Yi. It was obvious that he also wanted to continue. Yeah, Zhuge responded lazily. If you can't hide, you have no choice but to do it. Then continue. Qin Yi smiled, waiting with Luoya and others for the arrival of the 32nd floor. Outside the God and Demon Tower, after Qin Yi passed the 31st floor, the noisy surroundings instantly became quiet. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds later, a shocked voice sounded from the crowd. Damn it! He passed the 31st floor. 1 hour, 53 minutes and 45 seconds. It took him less than 10 minutes to get to the 31st floor. A group of level 33 mechanical giant apes, 2 level 32 mechanical monkeys, and 4 level 31 mechanical monkeys, it only took him less than 10 minutes to pass. He must be cheating. His contracted beast probably doesn't have much energy left. How did he do it? Could it be that when he broke into the tower, he obtained the heavenly material and earthly treasure that restored energy? That being said, it seems somewhat possible. The mechanical monkey group is not like other garbage spiritual beasts. Even if his contracted beasts have energy, it will not be that easy. Class suppression? That's even more impossible. It is said that he was promoted to an intermediate spiritual summoner during the college entrance examination. How many levels do you think a contracted beast who was only promoted to an intermediate spiritual summoner during the college entrance examination would be now? This is impossible, that is impossible, then why do you think it is? Well. When everyone was silent, Zhao Xian, who was sitting over there, suddenly said, skill proficiency. You are listening to it in Eugene Light novels.